Good morning, or afternoon, or whatever. Good morning. Let me bounce over here. Okay. Well, that didn't really fix it. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Anyway, hi everybody. Hunting and fishing in Red Dead. Yeah, I've been going back through Red Dead as well, and maybe you're doing it in real life, in which case, gross. But either, no, I like fishing. I went hunting once with my uncle in the winter. We went elk hunting. I think I was 15, and I don't remember a lot of the minutia. I do remember it being stupid cold. There was a winter storm overnight, so there was like 4 or 5 feet of snow when we woke up the next morning, so we had to literally dig ourselves out of the tent. And I do remember, I might have mentioned this at one point, like on stream or something. I do remember I was digging out the spot for where the tent was gonna be, and so like we're digging this big, maybe 10 foot, sorry, like 3 meter by 3 meter, 10 foot by 10 foot space, just trying to shovel it out so we got to the ground, on the actual ground surface, so that we could tack down the tent and stuff. And I remember shoveling and just finding like an elk leg, just like a big old elk leg from like the knee down, and it freaked me out because I hit something. I was like, oh, what's that? And I kind of dig around and I pull it up, and I realized what it is. But it's because when people would get an elk, they would hang it from the tree right there, and then they would, whatever they call it. What do they call it when you're processing the meat? There's like a term for it. It's like you rig it or you render it or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I found all the legs. Field dressing, you dress it. Yeah, that sounds right. We didn't get anything. We saw, like in all of Colorado, I think the term or the numbers are, there's like a few thousand moose in Colorado. Yeah, so in Colorado, hold on, share. Oh, well, that's that makes this hard. Hold on, swapping inputs. Please hold. Okay, that's right. Okay. And then if we go here, there we go. So apparently there's a roughly 3,000 moose in all of Colorado, okay? But the number of elk is like 250,000. Like there's a ton. Yeah, it's like 300,000. Largest elk herd in the world. So you're allowed to go hunting for elk. Moose, not really. But from a distance, like this guy, other than the horns, which are usually the giveaway, this guy doesn't look all that different from a good distance than a big old elk. Hold on, because like an elk is just kind of like a less sexy moose. Elk, there we go. But they have like spikier horns, but from like a good distance, it might be hard to tell. So we saw like 3 moose while we were up there, and not a single elk. Like not a single one. Like people were going up to the mountains to like moose sightsee, if that's a thing, seeking them out because they're so rare. And we just happened to stumble on exactly where they were, and no elk were. It was like a whole thing. Anyway, that was my experience hunting. Didn't go too well. Didn't get nothing. A moosing. Or like, what's his name? Jesse Lee Peterson. Amazing. Have you heard that guy? He's insane. But the way he says amazing is very, very funny. I don't know. I don't know if I can find it. And I think there was one, was it Pac-Man?
Abnormal for a man to be a liberal or progressive is a sign of being a beta male.
I didn't know that.
Because real men are conservative.
Amazing.
Republican, you know, and
I didn't say
strong
amazing.
in nature. So I'm concerned if you're a liberal or progressive.
If I became conservative, would I no longer be beta?
You become alpha.
Well, something to think about.
Yeah, it's abnormal.
Oh no, they cut it off. I think it's right after that. He says, "Would it be amazing?" And you're like, "It would be amazing." I don't know. Yeah, Jesse's like a crazy person. I don't know if he's serious about all this stuff. I saw one thing. Somebody was like, "Yeah, we're pretty sure we found some like leaked DMs and stuff. We're pretty sure he's probably a little bit like closeted." Because it's always the guys that are like super like hardcore homophobic that end up being a little gay themselves. I'm just saying. It's like that Republican senator who was like trying to pass all these laws against gay marriage, and then they find him in the bathroom of an airport or something. He's like soliciting sex from strangers. It's like, oh, well, maybe the pot is calling the kettle black. Did you guys watch the Boogie fight, by the way? The Boogie and Wings fight? That happened. That was a thing. I'll be real, I forgot it was happening until after it had happened. And then I saw like the tweets about it. And the whole thing is about 2 minutes long. And to describe it, like, I'm going to show you what Boogie just changed his profile picture to, and this will explain the whole fight. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, so Boogie and Wings of Redemption fought each other. And I mean, it went just about as well as you would expect. I mean, it's two guys, I think combined they weigh over 800 pounds. The fight lasted like maybe 2-3 minutes, maybe. And Boogie didn't land a single hit the whole time. It was just Wings plinking away. I was actually pretty impressed. Wings did have some good combos. You know, back in the day, I used to do a lot of Krav Maga and boxing stuff, and you know, we got really, really into it. And so I at least know a decent combo when I see it. And Wings actually was doing a pretty decent job. But man, this is one of the greatest exchanges I've ever seen. Like it's just he's just like kind of whacking him. But you see, Wings is actually doing like a 1-2. He's landing his shots. He's dropping his hands, which is always a no-no, but you know, he's actually hitting shots. And Boogie is just not even in the same realm. Boogie's just standing there. So it was a pretty, by all standards, it was a pretty terrible fight. But as some people said, they're like, neither of them had a heart attack, so that's better than I was expecting. But man, it was good fun. I found out though, Boogie, this jiggle physics, Rocky, control yourself. I found out though, Boogie said that they only got paid like 10 grand for the whole fight. I'm assuming they also had like travel expenses paid out. But like, is it just me or does 10 grand seem like kind of low for two like pretty well-known people to go and do like a celebrity boxing match? Or am I just like totally out of the loop? Because I don't know. I was braced for like, okay, for them to go and like being super unhealthy, being like older, for lack of a better term, being more delicate. I was expecting them to be like, yeah, we're paying Wings and Boogie each like 50 grand. Then I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. That explains why they would do it. But only 10 grand? That to me seems like a little low for them. But My understanding is that neither of their careers are going that great, and that 10 grand 5 years ago might not have been all that. 10K in 2 minutes though. Yeah, well, it's not really 2 minutes though. It's like 10 grand for flying out to London, spending like, 4 or 5 days there, doing the weigh-ins, doing the media tours, doing all the interviews, doing presumably a good amount of training before the fight. Like, you can whittle it down to like 2 minutes, but really there's a lot more that goes into it. Like, I'll be real. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, okay? I have received offers from like mobile game companies, so like not anything I would take, but like, I won't name exactly which ones, but your standard mobile game ad that you might see in a YouTube video. And I've been offered more than that to do like a dedicated video hyping up one of those mobile games. Like, they give you the script and they want you to be like unironically sitting in front of the camera going, and this is why I love X game. It's so magnificent and the character designs are amazing. Like, they want you to read it word for word in a way that like it's not even close to how you would normally describe things or talk. It's not even like a lot of brands would be like, hey, talk about the product, mention this, mention that, but in your own words. No, these guys are like, we want you to use our exact verbiage, word for word. Upper Echelon called them out for their script when they said, well, when I have stuff like that come across my desk or across my agent's desk, we just pass. Like, it's okay. Well, as nice as that money would be, I'm not going to do that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, even for the dedicated videos that we've done for like Naraka Blade Point or for Warframe, the standard is always that I have to be able to say what I want, positive and negative. And honestly, if they're willing to say, yeah, go for it, they probably are confident enough of their product that they know that I'm probably not going to have a ton of negative things to say. And it's also not a critique. I'm not trying to tear the game apart. The point of the video is to introduce it to my audience in case they aren't aware of it or haven't seen it in a while. But for those mobile games, man, they just are a different breed. They're like, really, they think that if they pay me 15, 20 grand to post a video where I'm just like, this game is the best game I've played all year, which is just factually false, and the character designs are amazing, and all of these other things, like, if they just went, I just don't understand. But they pay so much, it has to work, right? Like, if they were paying that much, you would think, at least I would think, there's been some success with paying creators to do that before, right? I don't know. Luke, what if I say it on camera? I'm like, guys, I'm really sorry. I can't do the ad read, but a member of my team can do it. Like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And so they just like send me out, and then I send Rocky in. Oh, that'd be pretty funny. I did joke around, like half joke. I was like, you know what? I would do it if we were allowed to like meme on it. Like if I did a Raid Shadow Legends ad read or video, but I filmed it like I was a hostage of some like crazy puts the lotion in the basket guy, or like, you know, one of those videos where somebody's tied to a chair and it's clear that they're being forced to say things that they don't want to say, like they've been kidnapped by some tyrannical government. I thought that would be funny. And honestly, that would probably get more views and it would do better than if I just read it word for word the way they wanted, or if I did it word for word like they wanted. Because I could still read the script word for word and just pretend like, you know, I've been kidnapped. That would be funny. I don't think they'd be that happy about it though. Get ChatGPT to say it for you. Oh, I could do that. I will I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. I have no idea. Yeah, we're gonna talk about all the Microsoft stuff too. Who's actually playing Raid? They pay so much for ads, and you have to meet someone who actually plays it. I've met some people who play it. I think the big thing is that mobile gamers and then like console and PC gamers don't overlap a ton, like hardcore mobile gamers. But there are some people that go so hard for those mobile games, it's insane. Ronda Rousey's a character now, I think. Of course. Yeah. Did you see those David Jaffe tweets about Bloodborne remake being in production? I saw, that's the guy that like, it was based on, yeah, this. I guess this is a segment, Jacob. You can use this. So, if you're not familiar with Jaffe, he is like one of the original creators of God of War. So he's a pretty well-established figure in the gaming industry. He's not a journalist. He's not like a guy that's talking to sources constantly, but he does know people who are pretty high up in the industry and probably has some connections and knows a little bit of what's going on. And he posted this that has caused the internet to go into a kerfuffle. And let's just see what he has to say, and then we'll talk about it, okay? Let's see.
This Bloodborne thing. Look, please. I'm seeing people on Twitter. It drives me batshit. I don't have insider knowledge. I don't put any value on, I know something you don't. All I said was, and it's not like I'm breaking some big story.
Yeah, to be clear, this is his reaction to a bunch of YouTubers taking comments he previously made out of context.
Everybody's been talking about the Bloodborne thing, the remaster, remake, whatever, for a long time. And all I said was, I know a reporter, she told me that she's like it, and I never said it was going to be at the show, even if there is a show this summer, which I think there is, but I don't fucking know. But that was never what I said. All I said was, she said that, hey, no, it's happening. It's a real thing. And we should be seeing a reveal sooner than later. That was it. I don't fucking know. I loved Bloodborne, one of my favorite games. I rarely finish games. I finished that one. I hope there's a remake. That'd be awesome. I don't fucking know. My God, you people.
People go hard for these Bloodborne remake things. I'll tell you what, I have not heard any rumblings. I don't know anything about this. But what he's saying is that he talked to a reporter that said it was happening. That's what we call hearsay, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a reason it's not allowed in a court of law, because it's basically useless. Because as long as I'm able to say, yeah, I heard from a guy that he knew somebody who said this, that's totally useless. It's a waste. Yeah, the NVIDIA leak was much more credible. I totally agree. But the point is, people were taking his comments out of context and being like, so they just cut it, like right after he said that he spoke to a reporter who said, it's happening. It might even be at the show this summer. And then they just cut that. And they're like, see, Jim Jaffe, the creator of God of War, said that the game's coming and it's going to be announced here. No, that's not what he said. He said he heard from a person that they had heard that this was a thing, which is not, I mean, it could be, but there's a difference between truth and then having a good reason to believe that thing, right? Like, it could be the case that aliens helped build the pyramids, but you don't have a good reason to believe that. You know, in the same case, like it could be the case that Bloodborne did in fact, like it is being remade and it will be announced at the event on like May 25th. Could be a thing. But you don't have any good reason to believe that. Right now, at least. Right now, it's all speculation and it's just fanboyism, which is fun. It's fun, but there's no reason to believe this, right? Right now, at least, right now. Okay? Okay. Glad we established that. But after Bluepoint announced the beloved remake in the works, now this. Well, I just want to know the reporter. Like, who's the reporter that he's talking to that's saying this? Is this like a nobody from some random outlet? Is this like a really well-established reporter? Because you better believe if there was any reporter out there that had the scoop, this would be like one of their biggest stories. Jason Schreier surely would come out and say this, or like, hold on, what's his name? Tom Henderson, that's his name, from Insider Gaming. Like, surely they would mention it, right? Like, they do all sorts of reports. Giggity. Nintendo Switch has made $69 billion. Oh yeah, and the Switch edition was delayed by 4 months. But, I mean, they're not canceling it. I was half expecting them to cancel it. Ranked Fortnite play is coming? Bro, that's awesome. Everybody like the stream, or I'll be forced to do a Raid Shadow Legends ad. Okay? Like the stream. Do it. Whippy Ice, thank you for the 4 months. Goodness. Diablo 4 rocked my socks, but unfortunately they cleared the clans when the remake on launch day. I killed Ashava 4 times. I did see that. I did see your message about that. I was like totally stretched way too thin this weekend, so I didn't get to go into the beta. Just like a big bummer, because I was like, yeah, we'll go in, we'll fight Ashava, sorry, and we'll rock and roll, it'll be awesome. But I just didn't get to. I didn't get to.
Hey folks,
the fight seemed interesting though.
Video on how to beat Ashava during the server slam in order to get the cosmetic reward, that mount trophy, before it's too late.
Seemed interesting.
My Twitch stream, so I'm gonna try to get this video up as soon as possible.
But didn't get to do it. I will. I don't know. I guess we'll just go in fresh. Since the anthropology episode of Community, I love the word kerfuffle. Oh yeah, I love kerfuffle. So Luke, I heard you want to play Fortnite. Nikki, Caleb, and I, it's been our secret like guilty pleasure game for the last few weeks, where we'll pop into that every once in a while. It's something Nikki enjoys, so we can play with her, and Caleb and I have been enjoying it too. So it's been a good time. I'll be real. It's been a good time. Yeah, it's like before The Last of Us 2 released, I knew someone who has inside knowledge personally that said The Last of Us 2 will be out in 2019, but it didn't. Things change, things shift, and honestly, like, so often I feel like big news, it's very hard to keep some of that stuff secretly. Like, if there was a Bloodborne reveal super imminent, I feel like we'd be hearing more rumblings than just, I heard from a guy this random thing. Can we talk to that guy? No. Okay, well, like, then what are we doing? Because if it comes from like a pretty reputable reporter, or like, you know, Tom Warren from The Verge, or if it came from Jason Schreier, then it'd be like, oh, well, they said, I mean, that's probably pretty reliable. But we haven't. And so I have to wonder, okay, well, then why? I don't know. You just lost a sub, Nutch. I can take any more of your gaming opinion seriously anymore with this groundbreaking Fortnite news. To be clear, it's Fortnite no build, okay? I don't mess with those 12-year-olds who can do the crazy build stuff. I'm not getting near that stuff. Oh, man. I can't. Those guys are crazy. But the no build is actually decently fun. And it's nice to play a game that's not totally broken. I'll tell you what. Lucas, finally a gaming streamer and YouTuber. It doesn't mess with 12-year-olds. It's about damn time. Oh man. Oh man, did you see Act Man going off this morning? He picked his next target, and I think it's gonna be pretty fun to watch, because he's going after iShowSpeed. In his words, this is what Act Man said: IMO, iShowSpeed is the biggest piece of shit on YouTube. This kid is an effing scumbag. Lies about false copyright claiming channels with 32k subs when he has 16 million. Absolute effing dog shit creator. Worst of the worst. My blood is boiling. Receipts on this kid are unreal. And then this person's like, also, he is absolutely not the worst. Max and Keemstar, etc. Not even Keemstar, J-Station, Jake Paul, or Logan Paul resorted to weaponizing Content ID to mass flag videos to steal money from people, which is what iShowSpeed does. He has done it. He doesn't do it on stream. He does it through a shell company that is like an MCN, so you don't realize it's him. But recently, people started putting it together that they were getting copyright struck from all over the place from these few MCNs, and it's his. And so he just goes and copyright strikes. Aiden Ross, he's the guy that did it on stream and was like, yeah, bro, we just stole 8K from this dude, bro. Swag, bro. Like the most cringe thing ever. Like, seriously, I don't know how these guys don't get sued. Well, I do know how. It's because they have a ton of money. And so they're like, yeah, come at me, bro. And then the 32K sub creator doesn't have a lot of money and can't sue them because they don't have money to sue them. But like somebody like Actman or one of these other big guys, they need to like go at these guys. Cause like if they get sued or if they get lawyers involved, you better believe YouTube is not messing with that. YouTube will take down iShowSpeed faster than a blink of an eye. If there's words of like major lawsuits and stuff. So what does copyright claiming do? It's basically where you can go, and these are all manual reviews. So like if I go, I don't even know what an example would be. What would be, I don't know. Let's go to the Rock and Roll Nerd. I'll just show you. So like there's the buttons where you can report, right? When you do this, you can go through these options to report the video. And you could technically claim that, you know, it has all of these other things, but it'll be manually reviewed. But you'd be able to claim that you own the copyright to the video. And then, assuming it goes through on YouTube's end, you would be able to claim the copyrighted or the copyright of that video and claim all of the revenue. So for example, if this video were posted by somebody other than official Tim Minchin, I don't know if this is his official artist. Yeah. Okay. If it was posted by somebody other than Tim Minchin, then they could probably strike it and then they would get all of the ad revenue, everything from that video forever. You guys remember that big Arkham series critique I did? That big Arkham series critique, because the opening of Arkham Knight played, I think it was, I've got you under my skin. And so I've got like that song was in the video from Frank Sinatra. And because of that, whatever company owns Frank Sinatra's library came in and took all of the ad revenue from that entire video for like 2.5-3 years until YouTube's tools allowed me to cut out just that song and mute it and everything to get the copyright back for that video because it was considered transformative enough. And, you know, since then that video does really well and makes me some nice passive income. But just that one mistake of having that song in that video has, over the course of that video, probably cost me like 20 to 30, maybe even 40 to $50,000. So whenever you feel like, oh, I made that oopsie, just remember I made an oopsie that cost me, because I left a song in the video, cost me like enough to pay off my college loans. But whatever. So what somebody like iShowSpeed is doing is he's going around to all of these videos that just mention him. They might use a picture of him. They might go in and they might use like a little tidbit of him doing something stupid on stream, to do like a reaction or to explain something or mention him. Like even now, if I pulled up a video of him like lighting the fireworks in his bedroom and I played that, he has been going into YouTubers channels and videos and streams and then using this shell company to kind of covertly take all of the ad revenue from that content. So intentionally doing it falsely and stealing the money. And because how the YouTube system works, if that happens to me, I can file an appeal and I can say, nope, I own the copyright. This was fair use. This was transformative, preserves the value of the original work, blah, 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 all of the legal standards. And then they get a chance to respond. And he's probably just going to have his company go, nope, we disagree. We do definitely own it. And then after that, the only way to deal with it is basically to get lawyers involved. That's it. That's it. And because small channels don't have the money to do that, they just have to roll over and take it. They don't have a choice. So the YouTube system is totally broken because it allows for these types of predatory behaviors from big creators or wealthy creators. And it's just scummy. It's just super scummy. So hopefully, you know, Act Man making videos and, you know, it sounds like Hassan, one of you said Hassan is suing him because he's tried to copyright strike Hassan or something. Yeah, man, I think all you need to know about iShowSpeed is what thumbnails are used to describe him. It's pretty toxic. It's pretty, and that song was horrible. That Kai Cenat Dogs song, they just sampled "Who Let the Dogs Out" and play it for like 10 seconds, and then they drop some like painfully horrible lyrics on top of it, and it's just horrible. And yeah, I don't think he's a very good person. We'll just leave it there. You should have the burden of proof when you're claiming a copyright. Does YouTube not have such a system? No, they do not. They do not. I have struck things before, but it's like videos I made when I was like 12. So I went back and I found a bunch of videos that I had posted like in 2009 or 2010 maybe, and I found them. And of course I don't have the login credentials for that anymore, and I was like, I'm gonna download these so I have them and I keep them. But I just like, there's videos of us as kids hanging out, and it was just, I was uncomfortable leaving it up there. So I went in and I was like, okay, I'll just be like, I made the videos, I own them, I just can't get into this channel anymore. So I went in and I filed the claims, and literally all it is it's a checkbox saying, I am in good faith making this claim, I own the content, or I'm the creator, whatever. And then within like a day, all of it was taken down. So like it's very, very easy to do it. And I think what most people are asking for is, like you're saying, there to be some sort of burden of proof before you can do that. I totally agree, Proto. I totally agree. It's insane that you can just go in there and casually drop it. Hassan, as a family member, owns the Young Turks. Yeah, Jank's his uncle. He got started doing like Facebook videos for them. And then he moved over, started streaming, brought over all of his Facebook and Instagram followers, and then kind of blew up. Now he's like way bigger than the Young Turks ever were, and probably ever will be. Say what you will about Hassan. I don't like a lot of the stuff Hassan says or does, and I'm sure we disagree on a lot. But he is phenomenally gifted when it comes to networking and social media stuff. Even people you don't like are good at things. Okay, we got to acknowledge that. Kind of on topic to the link I sent you. Hold on. The game Nintendo never wanted to make. Oh, this is like a monster. This is like a 32-minute video. Oh yeah, this is a big boy. It's gonna be like an hour and a half stream clip. We'll work through this. We'll see if we loop back. We ever do a video on the Metal Gear Solid franchise? If they do another one, then yeah, probably. But I don't see myself going back. I might go back and try like Metal Gear Solid 5 again. Why not? But what are you good at, Luke? Not keeping up with chat, apparently. The part you wanted me to see is at 4:47. Okay, what is this? I don't know what this is. Okay, this is Leo Lee.
The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and it is a straight up masterpiece. As a white guy making video game essays, dare I say it is a triumph. Or on the other Luke Stefan-ass looking thumbnails.
Stefan? I tried leapfrog again. A triumph. I love it, dude. Luke Stefan-ass look at, what did he say?
Essays, dare I say it is a triumph. Or on the other Luke Stefan-ass looking
Luke Stefan-ass looking
thumbnails. God, I hate that. But to Nintendo,
God, I hate that. Wait, what did he
triumph.
say? Hold on.
Or on the other Luke Stefan-ass looking thumbnails. God, I hate that.
Insert Dick Sucky gaming take on Assassin's Creed or something. I don't know. What do you mean Assassin's Creed? It's freaking Red Dead 2. What are you talking about, dude? Dude, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I had no idea. Oh, this is from 4 months ago? Oh, that's fun. It's so weird now to have people just like casually tossing out references. That's super funny. Oh, man. It's one of those things, man. If the thumbnails work, the thumbnails work. I don't know what to tell you. Since changing the thumbnail design from like what we used to do, which was just kind of like all over the place, we changed it to this like super simplistic, few words in the middle of the frame, and we just plop it in there. And since we did that, like that one change has consistently, like since, if you look at the view counts before, it has quadrupled. More than that, realistically, but on the low end, it is quadrupled. User engagement, clicks, like click-through rates, watch times. Like now, like the thumbnail design is recognizable enough that people see those thumbnails that I do in that very particular style, in that font, and people realize it's one of my videos, and they will come because they recognize the types of thumbnail. So and what's funny, yeah, exactly, it stands out against the clickbait ones. Well, that's kind of what's funny about it, is it's like anti-clickbait in its design, but then people take it as clickbait. It's just funny. It's just funny. But anyway, Proto, I see your stuff. Are you baiting me? Are you baiting me? Damn it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just funny. You jelly, bro? You jelly of those view counts, bruh? I don't know, he seemed to be doing okay. That video had like 1 million views or something. Yeah, exactly, Kratoast. That's how it works. I def found you because of that. Yeah, see, Gloom, it works. See, it works. People can't be mad. It's just funny. It's like, what would you have me do? Not put like catchy thumbnails. It's the thing I never understood about like the anti-clickbait cringe. Like clickbait is bad when it deceives you, but when it works, like isn't that the goal? Like to get people interested in the video so they click on it? Like that's the whole point. The guys that have gotten really good at it are like Linus Tech Tips. I don't even know like what they're talking about most of the time. Like you see this? Like if you just look at the thumbnails, the future, crazy face. 31K of SSDs. I'd probably click on that just with that. 2x performance with a weird face. This guy. What does that even mean? Okay, who would be stupid enough to buy $1,000 game? So like, I would get it if you're like, hey, these thumbnails are cringe, but they work, dude. Like they work. I remember, I don't know if anybody could find it, but I remember seeing a WAN show clip where they pulled up the like stats and stuff, and they showed, because they had some viewers when they shifted from like their really old school thumbnail design. Do you guys remember those like super, super old Linus videos? I don't even know if I'd be able to find it. Like LTT. It was like super, super old. Yeah. Back when they were still in that house. Swap scene. There we go. Like you remember these old school designs of thumbnails where they just had like the big text on it and super simple? Like they did this and people liked it because it was very, very unique and people just recognized it. Yeah, in the old house. And people were like, hey, I miss these thumbnails, because they went from doing this stuff to like these newer ones, which are like big face, bright colors, whatever. And Linus on the WAN show pulled up the stats, and it's like 3 times as many people are clicking on the video now, and you're watching for longer. So what do you want me to do? Intentionally get less people to engage with our content and get worse view times and stuff? Like intentionally do a worse job of what I'm supposed to do just to make like a few loud people happy who for some reason are triggered by like eye-catching thumbnails? Like, why would I do that? He's like, dry up, dude. Yeah, those serious clips. I don't even like sit down and do those. Jacob just clips them from stream. So like if I'm just sitting here, he'll cut this, screen cap it, cut my face out and do it. So I don't even see those before they go up, which is pretty funny. Yeah, in the stream thumbnails, I have like 5 that I rotate through, for real. Serious face, Luke? Or all of that works. Ordinary Gamers has great thumbnails. Yeah, he does. The faces in the thumbnails drive me nuts, especially a surprise face in the video is monotone. Like, come on. Yeah, well, and that's why I think the biggest issue is when the thumbnail and title don't directly correlate to the content of the video. That's when you have a problem. And that's where like clickbait has a bad reputation, of course, because it's like, hey, it's clickbait. You're lying to me to get me to click the video. Kind of like the term comes from like those old YouTube videos when it was all about just click-through rate. That's what would make your video get recommended on YouTube back in like 2009. And so those older videos had like, you know, it would be a video on like how to install a garbage disposal, and it's just like a woman with extreme cleavage. Has nothing to do with the video topic at all, but people would click on it, and that was it. It was just insane. It was ridiculous. But now at least, you know, it is a mixture of things that gets your video recommended. It's click-through rate, sure, but it's also how much watch time does it have? How much of the video are people watching? You know, there's a lot more that goes into it. And like even that video that we just popped in and watched a few seconds of, that is probably not that helpful for that video, because I came in, I went to a specific time code or timestamp, and then I left. So YouTube views that as like, okay, well then this video probably isn't that great to directly recommend to somebody like Luke because he only watched it because somebody sent it to him. So the algorithm's smart enough to just toss it out and to not promote it that way. But if somebody clicks on that and they watch through the whole video, then the algorithm's like, okay, it had good click rate, people watch the whole video, they're likely to want to see this guy's other stuff, so we'll recommend more of their stuff. And so it just all kind of spins and spins. So I'm thankful the algorithm's smarter now than it ever has been. I don't know, have you guys also, I wanted to ask you guys this, I forgot last week. Have you been getting recommended videos in like the YouTube app from channels that have like nothing to do with anything you're interested in, but that have like 5 views from a channel with like 30 subs? Because I've been getting tossed like random curveball videos that have nothing to do with anything and like nobody's seen. Yes, you have. You guys have? Okay. It's been like freaking me out. Like I got recommended one the other day that was like, what even was it? It was like, it was a very, very specific video. It was like a tutorial on how to replace like a part in your car on like a Honda Civic that is like next to the muffler. Like it was very specific that people would search for very precisely, and it had like, you know, 35 views or something. I was just like, why did the algorithm think that I wanted to see that? Yeah, see, it makes me think that maybe YouTube's tweaking the algorithm a little to try and toss smaller creators some crumbs. Maybe see if they can get them in front of more people. I'm okay with it because if I like the content, if it seems interesting, then I'll go through and I'll watch it. But if it's something like that that's just totally unrelated, I'm kind of like, okay, that was weird. I click on those low videos just to be daring. Well, one of them that I got recommended that I did end up watching was this guy that, I don't know how to say it other than that he did not seem all there. It was like a guy maybe in his 50s, you know, well over 300 pounds, in like a super dimly lit room. The paint's peeling off the walls. It looks like he's living in an abandoned house. Like it was a little freaky. And it was him just like saying the same 4 words over and over and over again about how like Mr. Beast was the Antichrist or something. And it was actually kind of entertaining. And I clicked on it and I saw it, and that was the whole video. And so I just like kind of sat there. I was like, huh, interesting. And I closed it down. And at the time I remember it had like 50 subs. The guy had like 50 subs. And then like a couple days later, I got recommended another one of his videos. And this one was him like going on and on about how Obama's actually like a lizard or something. And he had like 250 subs. And so I was just like, okay, so I'm not the only one that's been tossed to this guy. Apparently a lot of other people are like, huh, interesting. You got a keeper. Yeah, it was just like, it's a little unsettling because it's just like a little wild. YouTube's showing you the truth, brother. It seems like it, Peak. It's funny. The best one I ever found was the guy that was convinced that gorillas are fake. He thinks, his name is like Hans. And he thinks gorillas are fake. They're just people in monkey costumes that are going around zoos and stuff, and they do that specifically to try and trick people into believing that evolution is a real thing. It's like, he also thinks volcanoes are fake. He's like, nobody's ever seen a volcano go off. They're all CGI. Like, people have definitely seen it, dude. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. People have definitely seen it. Mount St. Helens? CGI, man. CGI. Thank you, my friend.
Swimog super chatted $4.99. My wife no longer likes your channel because I started playing Star Citizen after your first SC video and she hasn't seen me since. How you gonna try 3.19?
That's awesome so much. And thank you for the $4.99. Very generous. See me since I will be trying 3.19. I didn't realize they were already going to do a wipe. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't pour more time into 3.18. But at 3.19, I probably am jumping in. I am anticipating having a good number of things to work through. Because we're going to have Diablo 4 coming when we have a little baby here in the house here in just a few weeks. And so Diablo 4 will be nice. I'll be able to, blast through Tears of the Kingdom a lot more. I've got to get through this Jedi Survivor critique. I finished it almost twice. I'm like I've been through it once, and then I'm like maybe 70%, 75% of the way through on my other save file. And so I'm kind of bouncing between. I'm experimenting with a lot of stuff. I think the game is really good. I still wish there were more unique boss fights, but I do think it's pretty cool. On PC, it's running better, but I don't know. Same thing. Apparently, I know some of you guys have been enjoying the podcast, by the way, with the one and only Joe Raptor recently. Be prepared. Okay, we might be also doing the podcast Wednesdays now. Just a heads up, because he'll have more time to be able to stay longer, which I think will be a better fit. It'll help the flow of the show a lot more. But he apparently doesn't really like Tears of the Kingdom. So prepare all of your mockery. So Zelda Tears of the Frame Rate. Honestly, I haven't been having a lot of issues. It drops a little bit here and there whenever you activate one of the abilities, but it works pretty well. But it is one of those where if somebody put a lot of time into Breath of the Wild, I totally understand why they might not click with this, because the combat's pretty much the same. The combo stuff, yeah, it's cool. But for a lot of people, the fusion abilities can kind of feel like a gimmick, because they kind of are. You can play through Tears of the Kingdom while interacting with the fusion stuff very, very little, and the crafting stuff very, very little. But I don't know, if you can learn how to like implement that into your combat and into exploration, you're gonna have a really, really good time. And Crimson, you're totally fine. It's not for everybody. You're totally fine. I was just about to say I liked the video with him and was hoping you'd revisit the game after you played it, but he didn't like it then. Yeah, I'm gonna pick his brain about why he didn't like it. You better believe it. I'm gonna poke and prod. Poke and prod. Peak and Valley. Luke, off topic, I finally jumped into Breath of the Wild after hearing you talk about it. Had to emulate it. Don't have a Switch, and this might be the best game ever. It seriously, I put probably 150 hours into my first playthrough of Breath of the Wild, then took a few years off and then went back in. And yeah, there's still stuff that people will discover. I casually mentioned in a video, I was like, yeah, and I went back to my house in Breath of the Wild. They're like, what do you mean house? Yeah, in Breath of the Wild, you can like buy a house and you can decorate it and you can pay to like unlock places to put your armor sets and stuff. And this person had put like 80 hours into the game. I had no idea, because it's just so massive. I'm still waiting on the thing we talked about in the DMs we were on in the podcast. Okay, I can circle back to that. I've been putting out fires the last couple days. Like I mentioned, I went to meet with those accountants, and so I hired them to do all of our bookkeeping and accounting stuff. But there's just like so many little things that go into hiring new accountants that I am trying to catch up on. Luke, I thought you need to know you can use music in Hogwarts Legacy. Warner Brother allowed the use of music in streams and reviews. Oh, Pavel, that's awesome. I had a suspicion, because we've not dealt with like hardly any copyright crap with that, even though we've had a couple of little tidbits of music peek through here and there. But just to play it safe, whenever we heard the Harry Potter theme, we would just drop it. But I mean, that's refreshing to hear that they are chilling out with that, at least for the sake of that game. Because man, Man, it helps. Have you seen the speculation thing about GTA 6 being revealed soon? Rumors are that GTA 6 is planning a marketing campaign in Miami soon. The voice actor was seen there too. Maybe I feel like we've been hearing rumblings about GTA 6 for like a decade straight, you know, pretty much since GTA 5 came out. And every time the rumors just come down to like some guy said a thing, and I just am not willing to like expel the energy to worry about it or think about it or concern myself with it when that's the standard, you know? So like I don't know, I'm very hesitant to get excited about that stuff or get really, really interested in it and start covering it and discussing it, because at the end of the day, most of it just comes down to like, oh, I heard from this guy that this was happening. My uncle works at Microsoft, you know, and I just, sometimes there's legit stuff like those leaks. Those leaks are insane. I won't say anything, but like, it technically would have been possible. It technically would have been possible for someone to theoretically, when those GTA 6 leaks dropped on September 18th of 2022, it would have been possible for them to download all of those leaks and to save them for future reference and comparison, because one might have had an expectation that perhaps these would get taken down and would be lost and would no longer be findable. Hypothetically, of course. Yes, of course. And if somebody were to do that, then they would, in theory, have roughly, hypothetically, 3.3 gigabytes of video clips and data of various leaks that one could pull up on screen while talking about them, to look at animation sets and how they design the game. And frankly, these and hypothetically speaking, that would have been something people could do to, in the future, look at the leaks and see how they work. And if that hypothetically happened, then one could in the future look back on it. Hypothetically. So stupid in the audio plays, Jesus Christ. Man. Oh, do you guys want to see the latest PlayStation game review? Oh no. Just asking. It sounded like me trying to circumvent ChatGPT's response restrictions. Yeah, that would require someone with incredible foresight. I was just like, they're going to strike all of this and you're not going to be able to find it. And I love the idea of being able to go back and be like, oh, look at this. This was something that they were working on in 2021. And then we can see how it started and where it ended up in the final game. It's pretty cool. Luke, have you been playing that game with the guy with a pointy heart that has a sword and jumps around in place? It seems high prices. Seems to be in high places a lot on your 4090. Hold on, let me try this again. Have you been playing that game with a guy with a pointy heart? He has a sword and jumps around the place and seems to be in high prices. Maybe places? A lot? I don't know. Yeah, that does work. If you were to, in theory, emulate something, it would, in theory, work, though not at 60, because there has to hypothetically be a patch that comes out. But once that patch hypothetically comes out, you could hypothetically play it at 60 frames, ultra wide, and then have your save data permanently preserved. Hypothetically, of course. I was actually kind of surprised. Linus, I wonder if I can find this. Or no, it was WAN Show. WAN Show tiers. Does anybody have the clip? I don't think so. Damn it. Yeah, but he casually mentioned on the WAN Show that he was buying the game, but he was not going to play it until the patches had dropped for the emulators. Because he's like, I want to own an actual copy. I'm not pirating. Oh, the patch is out? Hypothetically, of course. Well, that's good to know. That's very good to know. Because his whole thing was like, I just don't want to have all of my save files preserved on the Switch. That sounds horrible. Sounds horrible, especially after all of the crap with like you have to pay for the Nintendo Online service, which is stupid expensive for what you get for it, just to have cloud saves enabled for backup. Like, so Linus was like, I don't want to deal with that, so I'm going to play it on PC cranked through an emulator, but I'm going to buy a copy. I'm not stealing it. Pointy hat, I mean, I guess the hearts are like pointy on the bottom, I guess, maybe. Jefferson, thank you for the 199. Had to sell my Series X after Redfall. I don't think anybody blames you. Like, unless you're really not interested in Starfield, the one thing would be like, oh, keep it through Starfield. And if Starfield's awesome, then go for it. Unless you have a PC, in which case, honestly, at this point, I don't really see any reason to have an Xbox if you have a PC, other than being able to play something like in the living room. Which can be cool. Okay, let's see. You guys remember this? This was something that no, it's this one. This was something that they dropped. Center. Oh my god, it's not working, mother trucker. Hold on. Hold on. Why isn't it working? Let me just reset that. Doop-a-doop-a-doo-boop-boo. Ba-ba-dee-boo. Scooby-dee-ba. There we go. You guys remember this? They revealed this a while back. It's like the PlayStation new game. Apparently it just dropped, or the reviews are dropping. I haven't seen this. I don't know, but it's like just an hour ago they dropped the reviews. Remember this? It's apparently PSVR 2 and PS5.
After about 20 hours of guiding hundreds of thousands of these weird little dudes through more imaginative puzzles than I can count, I'm left with childlike joy and at least a little bit more confidence in my problem-solving skills than I had when I started playing Humanity. Each of its maps is simple enough to be solved in about 10 to 20 minutes, yet they never stop toying with elements of platformers, dipping into real-time strategy, stealth action, and even arcade shooting at times. Its puzzling possibilities are as limitless as its endless swarms of human minions, and yet thanks to its extensive yet effortlessly simple stage creator, it verges on little big planet levels of open-endedness that will inevitably keep me coming back for months, if not years.
Looks super trippy.
Let's back up just a second and explain exactly what Humanity is. It's a puzzle game from the minds behind Tetris Effect and Rez at Enhanced Games, which explains why it's so bizarre and cool looking. That you play as a ghostly Shiba Inu with the power to make humans do your bidding, and the goal is basically to guide your followers through each map, usually doing stuff like manipulating time and physics to clear a suitable path. No, the thin story doesn't make any sense, it's not a big focus, just like in Reds, but Humanity does loosely point to some interesting metaphors about human nature, and this somehow works to explain some of the wilder scenes, like this one. Don't ask about this one. You kind of have to play it for yourself to make the pieces fit. It's really like a modernized take on Lemmings, but if you've played Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, you might remember a few sequences here and there where you might run around as Clank, guiding infinite clones of yourself. That's basically what you're doing in Humanity the whole way through, but it's way more flexible, with far more tools at your disposal to change the fate of the endless stream of human followers.
This seems like one, if you like were playing it a little drunk or like a little high, it would cause you to have a mental breakdown. You know? Like, I'm already getting that vibe where I'm kind of on the edge. I'm like the weird plinky music. Yeah, Lucas, thank you. Makes you anxious. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I feel like I would just start screaming if I played this too much.
That means running and jumping around the map yourself, placing commands like turn, jump, shoot, and so forth. I had heaps of fun watching my initial strategies and mechanisms fail until I miraculously figured things out each time I progressed to the next level, because trial and error is fun when messing up is this entertaining. It's great then that after the early segments of the main campaign, you can restart a map at any time without resetting your existing commands. That lets me rethink my steps at an iterative level with—
Oh, dude, something about watching VR headset footage, like, messes me up.
without throwing all of my progress away after each mistake. There's a good bit of action too, in that sometimes you need to run around a map like a manic puppy and change the commands you've already placed as certain conditions are met. For example, in one level, I organized a group of humans to push a block into place while not working together to create a pathway so that both groups could eventually jump across to escape an encroaching swarm of enemies. That's just one example, but it illustrates the basic premise of humanity and how each of its intermingling systems gives way to a seemingly limitless number of challenges.
Yeah, this is a game I would probably play with the sound off while watching like Breaking Bad on the side.
Inu works remarkably well here, especially—
I get some people like that trippy, like weird music, but I don't know, for me it hurts my brain.
Given that your small stature and quick movement grant you the ability to slyly weave between groups of humans, dashing and leaping and even using your own minions to catapult yourself through the crowds. This all feels great in action, and with the DualSense controller thumping and pulsating in my hands, it all came together beautifully. It's wild to see potentially thousands of individual people flying across my television or inside my VR headset at once, and many of humanity's individual scenes are jaw-dropping. That's both due to the bewildering technical wizardry of managing this crowd, and the way that it uses strikingly imaginative scenes to burn each moment of satisfaction into my brain. One early puzzle had me creating my own state machine, a logical mechanism made up of thousands of individual humans jumping around between 4 platforms in an infinite loop, stepping over pressure plates in a rhythm that kept the machine in a state that allowed me to send a separate group of humans climbing up a ledge and jumping their way to safety. You'd think that so many moving bodies running around at screen at once would get confusing or even nauseating, but humanity's camera system is handled so well both in and out of VR that you almost always have control of what you're viewing. When you need to zoom in for a closer look or zoom out to get a bigger picture, it's smooth and simple to adjust your view to focus where you need to. Sometimes these infinite loops keep going even after you've hit the victory screen, allowing you to revel at the literal gravity of your—
I don't know, man. It seems like something Kojima would freaking love. This seems like right up his alley.
problem-solving abilities. Again, that's just one potential example of how these mechanics interlock to create interesting challenges, and frankly, it was one of the simpler ones that I ran into. Humanity's open-endedness means it almost never slows down or grows repetitive, and figuring out each of its many clever puzzles feels like a completely new experience that is uniquely satisfying each time. That's especially true given how challenging they can be if you don't look at the conveniently included solution videos that help you with basic solutions but never go overboard or spoil any secrets, like how to unlock the optional objectives on any given map. Those secret objectives are the backbone of humanity's progression system, and you need to unlock a certain number of them in each act to progress. You can't just do the bare minimum of getting your humans from point A to point B and expect a pat in the head. This game demands a little more thought from you, but it was never a drag since they were never overly tricky to find or unlock, usually just adding extra layers of satisfactory challenge while giving more experience along the way. Just knowing that the way that I solved the level isn't necessarily the only way adds a ton of replayability. By the way, that's right, there's even a leveling system that unlocks rewards like new cosmetics and features, and it even plays directly into the excellent stage creator mode where you can use those same rewards to create your own puzzles and maps, and then you can share them with the world at the press of a button. Likewise, the user stages mode is already filled with interesting new levels that stretch humanity's toolbox of mechanics well past the limits of what Enhanced must have thought most people would be comfortable with in the main campaign, and it's easy to navigate directly to the best player created levels through a handy indexing system. I could easily spend hours here, and I might have possibly even sidestepped the campaign altogether if I discovered the user stages mode first, but I'm glad that I played it as a tutorial for the super advanced levels people out there are already creating.
Super trippy.
And this is all made better by humanity's VR compatibility, which will work with either PlayStation VR headset or PC VR. It's a perfectly viable way to play any level, though the VR mode disappointingly hasn't been tooled to work with the stage creator tool itself quite yet. Still, I'm delighted that humanity gives you the option to enter a full-blown VR mode from the main menu, placing you directly into the action. Or you can stick to the PlayStation VR 2's theater mode and lay back on the couch and play on a virtual flat screen. Both modes play comfortably with the DualSense controller, though I wasn't quite as impressed.
I'm gonna get like super motion sick if I keep doing that. Oh my god. What do you think?
Humanity is a beautiful modern reimagining of Lemmings that feels as esoteric and artsy as Enhance's previous games, while ambitiously stepping onto new terrain for the action puzzle genre with a pitter-patter of countless little feet. It somehow manages to intermingle platforming, action, and real-time strategy elements with mind-bending finesse, and its open-endedness means I could be sitting here and tinkering with it for years, much like I have with other games with great level creators like Dreams and Little Big Planet. Humanity bursts out of left field with something so unexpected.
Amazing. I don't know. For some people, it's gonna be great. Others, it's not their cup of tea, and that's totally fine. Totally fine. One of the top comments, Matt Pat gonna theory the hell out of this. Oh man, just like super, super trippy. You know what? I think it's time. Let's do it. Is it on PC too? Yes. Okay, let's talk. Actually, we should probably mention the Xbox stuff, and then we'll get into Tears of the Kingdom, because we're going to try to break it. I saw some videos of how people were breaking Tears of the Kingdom, and I want to try it. I'm going to try to break it, because why not? Right? Why not? I also saw there, I'll pull it up. I think it was Joseph Anderson, and he was just like destroying it. Oh, does anybody have that clip? I don't know. While we're doing this Microsoft acquisition little segment, can one of you guys try to find like the clip of Joseph Anderson breaking Tears of the Kingdom? He did something where like he got a... No, that was... I'm thinking of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It was a different thing. I'm thinking about a different game. You're fine. Never mind. Ignore me. Real quick before we shift into Tears of the Kingdom. Just dropped today some little news. UK's regulator. Well, actually, let's do this one first. Breaking news. Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition approved by EU regulators. The European Commission has sided with Microsoft just weeks after UK regulators blocked the deal. Can't talk today, my goodness. And in response, UK's regulators say EU is working to approve Microsoft Activision deal, saying, quote, or is wrong, not working. I can't read today. UK's regulator says EU is wrong to approve Microsoft's Activision deal. Quote, while we recognize and respect that the European Commission is entitled to take a different view, the CMA stands by its decision. And if we look it up, ATVI, you can see the stock rose a little bit today. So if we go like 5 days, you can see after the news dropped of the UK blocking, it went from like 85, 86, dropped down towards like 76, 75 a little bit later in the week. Bear in mind, if the deal was 100% going through, this would be trading at exactly 95 because that's what the offer was at. So the fact that we've seen a couple little jumps here, it shows that this is good news. It's better news, but it still is like, it's not exactly what they were hoping for. They were hoping that this would actually like cause the CMA to have a change of heart. What people are kind of counting on though is that this news will make it easier for them to go and get their appeal through. That's their hope. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I will be real. I know next to nothing about international acquisitions of multi-billion-dollar corporations. Call me crazy. It's not my area of expertise, but there are people who follow this pretty closely. I was reading a couple articles this morning who say now the deal is maybe at like a 35% chance of actually going through because they might be able to get the appeal to go through if they can show the appeal board, hey, look, everybody's cool with this. It's just the CMA that doesn't like it. Like they're the only ones with a problem. So maybe they are out of line here. And that could potentially get the deal across the finish line. Who knows? Nobody knows, which is why it's not trading at a perfect 95. It's because there's still a lot of uncertainty, but we'll see. Microsoft has hired like the best possible company. We looked at that in a previous stream clip where they've hired the guys that have been hired by like Apple and Google and Facebook to get deals across the finish line or to get out of fines from regulators and stuff. So they hired literally the guy, the lawyer and his team that are the best in the world at this. So they have as good a chance as they could possibly have at getting this deal across the finish line. Still might not be enough, but we'll see. Some people have said, okay, well, even if this doesn't go through, even if this gets blocked still and the appeal fails, they might be able to rework it again, and we might see a shift. Like maybe they just buy King, or maybe they just go and they try to just acquire Activision and King, and then they sell off Blizzard or something. And they just kind of try again with a different formulation. There's a lot of ways that this works out, not in its exact form right now, but there are ways that Microsoft could still get something out of this. It's probably, I mean, almost certainly not a wash. But okay, let's shift into Tears of the Kingdom. One little thing I wanted to mention, which I thought was just important to note. I saw ACG tweet this out, and I thought it was a good point, something we've been mentioning a few times. What he said was, Tears of the Kingdom is an amazing game despite its resolution and 30 FPS. Redfall would not be an amazing game at 8K and 120 FPS. The comparison makes zero sense and ignores what is actually occurring within the gameplay itself. And this is in response to what a lot of people have been saying, which is just asinine. I don't know if they're trolls or what, but some people have been saying it's insane that people are giving Breath of the Wild crazy high scores, but then they bash Redfall for like low frame rate and only running at 30 and not rendering at super high resolution, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I think they're trolls, because even like hardcore Xbox fans have acknowledged Redfall is not where it needs to be, like at all. But the comparison with this is just like, it's nonsensical. The point is Redfall is a bad game and it doesn't run well. So it's just a double whammy, which is why people got so upset at it. But Tears of the Kingdom is an amazing game that doesn't run great because it's running on old handheld hardware, but it's still like, it's a different thing. This was funny. How so? The gameplay itself is what makes Tears of the Kingdom special. The excellence of all its combined elements that create an immensely engaging experience. 60 FPS would be lovely, but it's still a fantastic game. Redfall would be bad no matter how much you up the FPS. And he's just like, what? What? So you're agreeing? Like, nobody knows what he's upset about. Like, how so? Like, did you... What? Like, the reading comprehension is just not there, I guess. Yeah, and then like this. So 30 FPS sub 720p is acceptable now. Good to know. Did I say they were acceptable, or did you ride in with a Burger King crown on and not your thinking cap this morning? This isn't a fortune cookie generator. I think, like I've said in other videos and stuff, I think Tears of the Kingdom is a game that doesn't run great, but despite its resolution and frame rates is great. However, people mistake that for like a new standard that can be held and accepted, because like nobody's happy that Tears of the Kingdom runs at 1080p or I think it's 900p upscaled to 1080 on docked. It's like nobody's thrilled about that. However, we gotta change this. Hold on. And then please hold. We have to change the input resolution because it was on the ultra wide. And then reset, boop, and then boop. Okay, there we go. Voila. Voila, it's working. Like, am I thrilled about the resolutions here? No. Not really. By the way, just so everybody's aware, we're playing on my second account, which has the earlier save file on it. So don't worry about like super late game spoilers or anything. I'm not thrilled about the way the game runs and like the resolution and stuff, but honestly, if this is the cost of great gameplay, then that's what it is. But the total disregard for acknowledging difference in gameplay dynamics and things is what makes me wonder if it's actually that serious, because I don't think anybody is going to try to say with a straight face that Redfall has gameplay dynamics anywhere close to what they're doing in Tears of the Kingdom. But like I said, I also don't blame people if they're not connecting with Tears of the Kingdom. I don't blame them at all. Like, it's very similar to Breath of the Wild. I feel like it's an improvement every step of the way, in almost every facet. But I totally understand why some people might be like, it's too similar. I get it. I used my TV's Motion Plus setting to increase smoothness of frames, and it made a huge difference. Interesting, Sean. Whenever I've tried to implement that stuff, it never works out too great. It never works super well. I'm gonna be real. Lots of artifacting. But this running on like PC is outrageous. Because hypothetically, if somebody were to, in theory, have a version of this game that was playable on PC, and if they were to hypothetically try it, in theory, they could, hypothetically, of course, I wonder if I can do this. They could run this at 4K 60, and it could look way, way better than this even looks. Run smoother, and just be all around better. Hypothetically, of course. Is it possible to play Nintendo games on PC? Hypothetically. It's just... It's one of those things you don't really want to talk about. The cloud's coming. You don't want to mention it because you're probably just going to get attacked by the Nintendo lawyer groupies, and nobody wants to deal with that. But yeah, it is hypothetically possible. And hypothetically, it could run way, way better. Way better. I am finding 32,000 court cases for emulating Mario Kart. It's well, there was that one guy. What was that case before? Fuse some of those weapons. I can do that when we get down. I can do that when we get down. Hypothetically, no, but yes, but no. I heard one that was like the guy was building tools for emulation, I think is what it was. Oh, I can just get this. I think so. What was the one where Nintendo just sued the guy and now he's having to, like, he just got out of jail, but he has a ton of stuff. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? There was a recent case like that where he got out of jail and they're going to be docking his wages like for the rest of his life. Gary Bowser? Oh, right, because his name was Bowser, and that's why it was a little funny, because his name was Bowser. Hold on. Gary Bowser, Nintendo. Yeah, this. Bowser released from prison, still owes millions. What did he do? He was sentenced in 2021 to 40 months in prison and a $14.5 million fine for his role in Nintendo hacking group Team Executor. Okay. Team Executor. He... let's see, it was indicted in back in 2020 alongside Max Lauren and Yaoning Chen for their activities as part of Team Executor, a hacking ring that sold chips allowing users to play pirated games. Oops. Despite seemingly having a smaller role in the operation as its marketing and PR manager, Bowser was the only one of the three ultimately tried and convicted in the US. Chen, a Chinese national, was never arrested, and Lauren was never able to be extradited to the US. Oof, dude. Bowser pled guilty to 2 charges and was sentenced to first a $4.5 million fine and later a $10 million additional fine, as well as 40 months in prison. Wow. Bowser claims that of the $14.5 million he owes, he has not been able to pay off has only been able to pay off $175 thus far, taken out in $25 monthly installments from his income from a job in the prison library. Should Bowser find a job at home in Canada, he says his pay will continue to be docked until the full amount is paid off, though his agreement with Nintendo only allows between 25 and 30% of his pay to be docked at a time. Previously, Bowser stated that while Team Executor earned, quote, at least tens of millions of dollars of proceeds, he himself only received a small fraction of that. Wow. Yeah. During Bowser's trial, U.S. District Judge Robert Lasnik reportedly said that Bowser's sentence was in part, quote, a message, end quote, to deter other hackers. This is the same thing that happened with like Joe Exotic, where like he got a worse sentence than a lot of like murderers do. And it seemed outrageous at the time. But when like you look at it, the reason that it was so aggressive was because they were trying to send a message. Like it wasn't actually about like what's the most fair for this particular crime. They were trying to make an example of him so that people don't think about going and doing that again. And whether that's fair or not, I mean, that's kind of up to each individual to decide, but that's at least the theory as to why they made the punishment so aggressive. But man, it's just $14.5 million. He's never paying that back. Message sent loud and clear. Yeah. He's an idiot for trying to profit off of it while living somewhere where they can prosecute you. Well, even if you're living somewhere where they can't, if you have, like, if they have an extradition treaty, you're screwed. You're screwed. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're living out of country, like they're gonna get you out. You think upgrading your stamina is not that important in this game as Breath of the Wild? Totally agree, Brennan. With the new mobility stuff they have with the crafting systems, it's one of these where it's a proving ground challenge. Okay. This is like that island. What's the name of that island in Breath of the Wild? Where you show up and you don't have anything? I don't remember, but it was super cool. Yeah, they'll throw the blue shell at you. Let's just, I understand Nintendo's like, listen, dude, you were part of an operation that made millions off of our work. And that's just not cool. Can I, no, I don't have anything. Okay. Come on, dude. There we go. Can I not pick up his... There it is. Come here, bro. Oh, come off it. Man. A thick stick. Oh, he's doing the head swirl. Long stick, thank you very much. I don't know, man. I don't like the idea of somebody being public or punished disproportionately just because they wanted to make like an example of them. That to me seems messy. Like, it kind of seems inherently unfair that just because somebody was like well known, or could be like their knowledge could be distributed, or the knowledge of their crimes could be distributed, that you would then like, I don't know, it's just, it gets messy for me. I don't know. I don't like, it makes me feel uncomfortable. The whole vibe. The whole vibe. As for how we're gonna break this, what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna try to find a big beastly boy. Oh, a spring shield. Let's replace that one. We're gonna try to find like a Hinox or something, and we're gonna try a strat I saw on Twitter that seems outrageous, but it's gonna be interesting. Not even the worst criminals get such harsh punishment, not defending. Yeah, it's just like, on the one hand, I understand that they're like, yeah, we want to make an example of you to show everybody that this doesn't pay and that they shouldn't do it, otherwise they could suffer the same fate. But that kind of seems like, by definition, unfair and unjust, because you are taking... Oh, there's another one right there. Should I just go get that one? Probably. You're taking somebody who did, like, or if you take two people that did the same crimes and you punish one way worse than the other just because you think that you could publish their case more broadly, like, it doesn't seem like that's just. Yeah, you just end up punishing the first person to get caught, or the most recognizable one, or the one that can be like marketed the best. And that to me seems like some dystopian shit where you're gonna take somebody and then like ruin their life, like really ruin their life. Yeah, they did something wrong, but you're gonna destroy their life disproportionate to their crime to make an example of them. Like, that just seems really, really slimy. I wonder if I slide on this shield, will it bounce me in the air? Yep. That's awesome. Oh, but it broke it. It broke it. Oh, well. I guess let's do this one, and then we'll see if we can still unwind that. I need my friend. Chill out. Locally, a drunk driver literally killed somebody and got a few months in jail and probation recently. Jeez, dude. The drinking and driving thing, I have zero sympathy for people that get the book thrown at them. Zero sympathy. Like, we knew somebody that died. She was in a car with a friend of hers, and she died because a drunk driver slammed into them at like 80 miles an hour. Heed my instruction. Steady your aim, then throw the weapon at the enemy. Okay. They should just... Yeah, it does suck. She was only like 19, I think. Amazing singing voice, too. She was super talented and gifted. Really tragic. Not quite the throw I needed. Oh, it broke it. I didn't think it'd break it. Yeah, literally no excuses with Uber and Lyft and stuff nowadays. Zero excuses. Not that there were excuses before. But it's just infuriating. Is it really the whole thing? Okay, innermost chamber. Which you prefer more, hearts or stamina? In Breath of, we were just talking about this. In Breath of the Wild, I really preferred stamina. I maxed out stamina and I still had like 5 hearts or something, like not even close. But this time around for this game, I really feel as though it's much less important. Just because the construct things that you can build, it doesn't feel like mobility is as big of a concern. Plus the other stuff that they've added with like, yeah. The other stuff they've added with like this rise ability, the ascend ability, really makes it feel like you don't need as much stamina. If you find a cliff and then you go under the cliff, you can just port right to the top, you know? So it doesn't feel as crucial. Ryu Jinx is amazing. Yeah, all of those. Simu 2 is also great. They run very, very well. Ryu Jinx is a little heavy on the system, but I'm sure that that'll get patched out for individual games separately. Just a tip, 2 wheels of stamina is enough and kind of recommended for the end game. Yeah, I totally see that. Already I've hit a few times where I'm like, I could probably stand to have a little bit more. See, this is what Nintendo's so good at. Okay, we talk about like open world design and all of this. What they're trying to do when you're playing through, I guess we can turn this into a clip. Yes, let me do this. So some of the mastery of Nintendo's open world design is that they want to make sure every time you finish a little activity, there's something new to captivate you. So you see, we just finished at this shrine. We walk out, we have people walking by that we can speak to, or we can go around here and we'll see bokoblins, or bokoblins, however you say it, over there in the distance. Or we've got this little Korok seed that needs help. Or we have a big tower that we can unlock. There's just like a shooting star thing over there. That was crazy. Or we run over here. There's a shrine. So there's that. There's also this pillar of light over there. You should probably check that out. There's so many little things that pop out and grab your attention at this moment of just like walking out. You haven't done anything. You haven't like sought anything out. You literally stepped out of the shrine and you already have a series of activities kind of mentally, I guess, partitioned that you're like, okay, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to try to take that out. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and that's what we're going to do. And it's just masterful because how often do you have that in a game where you finish one thing and immediately you have like 5 objectives in your mind sorted? It's pretty uncommon. Pretty uncommon. And then you see other studios like Ubisoft or like, you know, Ubisoft's the best example, but there's a lot of other open world developers where the way that they do this is not by just having stuff showcased where you see them and then it calls your attention, but rather they just sprinkle the mini map with tons of points of interest that you're expected to just like chase down and figure out and have fun. And that's just nowhere near as satisfying as discovering it yourself in your own way. Interesting. Elden Ring does it too. Exactly. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, now Elden Ring does it too, masterfully well. Elden Ring managed to do it with major boss fights and great combat and stuff, which is what also made it really, really impressive. I think I have another reward actually.
Yeah.
I'm running it locked at 1440p 60 on a 3070. Honestly, after seeing how great it looks, I kind of don't want to touch the Switch. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've seen any movement puzzles. For those of you who have been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, I'm trying, it like, granted, it all kind of blurs together with Breath of the Wild, but you remember in Breath of the Wild, there were a bunch of like those shrines where you had to use the motion controls on the controller and then like swing the hammer and hit the ball. Are there any in this? I think all of the ones I've found have other options where you don't need the motion controller, you know?
Wow. Yay.
Haven't had any? I can't think of any either. There were ones with balls and mazes. Yeah, I think so. I remember those too. I think it probably was a point of feedback that they got that people didn't really like those. I couldn't stand them, honestly. And I'm surprised that they got rid of them. I'm kind of happy they did, but yeah, it's like, man. Oh yes, everybody liked the stream. Got like 300 people in here. Only 130 likes. Also, do you see this? It brought over all my horses from Breath of the Wild. Djibouti, Frogbutt, Phineas, Bland, and my Peen. So you can ride my Peen. Yes, I'll take my Peen. Does anyone use the motion control to aim? Just found out that was even a thing. Yes. Yes, I attach harness. Would you like to harness? It's just gonna drag behind him. I don't want it. Zonai Ruins out east. Okay. Where'd you go? There you go. Also, are those durians still in this game? I haven't gone down to the tropical area yet, but is that still a thing? Oh, I already got it. That's why. Because you remember those durian fruits, the spiky ball fruits, those things you could cook up and they would heal like 30 hearts and give you all those yellow hearts. Are those still here? You wanted my Peen, right? Please try durian on stream when they actually try the real one. Aren't those the ones that like reek? Like disgusting? I don't know if I want to do that on stream. Yeah, but they taste great. Okay, so one thing I saw somebody do, I might have to try it with just the big guy. I might have to take these guys out separately. Because what I saw somebody do is they had like a big hammer and then they moved it around with the Ultra Hand, and then they time rewound it. And it was actually pretty damn cool. So like, they did, so they would drop that, they'd grab this, and then they like would move it around. Up. And then they would try to time rewind it. And then try to get them to walk into it. Nope. Okay, it's not as easy as they made it look, okay? We're gonna try again. We're gonna try again. Hold on. I think I gotta get the big log. He did it with a log and 2 boulders. So I think we're gonna have to try it with that. I am loving the increased enemy variety though. The camera kind of clips into it sometimes though, which isn't great. Fuse boss, Goblin Horn. Love it. Yeah, we'll try it with bigger stuff. I saw working on a Hinox too, or I think was it a Hinox? Is that what it's called? It's like Hinox, Bokoblin, or Bokoblin. Like, who knows? Who knows? Okay. What was the closest one? Purple and red. I like purple. Anyway. I've also seen the Flurry Rush activation still feels broken. I played a good amount of Breath of the Wild leading up to this. And I'll be real, I didn't think it was as bad as Breath of the Wild. It still is not as tight, but it's tighter. So, they made improvements, but I would say they still could use a little bit of work. Little bit of work. Let's just break this, I guess. And then... Actually, I'm gonna save this for taking those guys on. Lit his buns on fire. I don't have any straight, just healing stuff. Damn it. Be careful with all that fire, dude. Having to switch weapons constantly is a bummer. I still think it was a necessary evil. Like, the way that they designed it, where they want you to just constantly be swapping weapons, breaking them, moving to find new ones. It's how they encourage you to keep going to these different sites. The one time like it really breaks though is when you get really good weapons that you don't want to break because they're so good. And so then you just end up avoiding engagements everywhere you go. And that's just not a great... I don't know. I think that that's a bad artifact of this. But you usually only run into that like halfway through or maybe 3/4 of the way through the game. A little less common. Rocky, because it's the legend of Zelda. Link's just part of the story. I will grant you it's a little weird, but... What's up, dude? Darn it all. What happened? What happened? And the blame on you? Unforgivable. President Hudson? Construction company. He's the one appointed by the princess herself. Okay. Little president of a tale of heroism. Okay. Extra special mission that put these signs all over the place to let everyone know that Hudson Construction is a big deal. They aren't your ordinary signs, as you can clearly see. So I pledge to support him. Unforgivable. Oh, I need to fix it first and then... Okay. Give me a second, dude. I guess... I can chop down a tree and then use the logs, maybe? I missed my master sword. My master commander sword. Okay, try letting go. You did it! Voila. You know what? It works. Glabine! Thanks for the podcast. It's great to listen to while I'm working from home. Awesome. Yeah, we're still perfecting it. We're still in like the finesse phase. We're working on it. But we're getting there. Special gift. Oh, bomb flower. Cool. Yeah, we're easing our way into it, and I think we're getting better week by week. The main thing right now is like we're loosening up, we're getting comfy with the format. The next thing is I think we're going to try to go longer, because the last 2 weeks we've only gone for like 50 minutes before Jor has to leave. And I think that that's a little too short. I'd like to spend a little more time. So we're going to be trying to extend it a little bit, go a little bit longer, talk about a little more stuff. I don't love the latency that comes with Discord, because sometimes that means that we run into problems where we're talking over each other just because of the lag. But, you know, it works about as well as you could expect it to. You want to go longer? Of course. Of course I want to go longer. Oh my god. I lit my horse on fire. Okay, come here, dude. Sorry about that. That was my bad. I didn't realize if I ran into them, they'd light on fire. Luke, would Zoom work better than Discord for podcasts? I don't think so, honestly. Oh, here he is again. I'm gonna build one. Kind of like this. I don't know. We used to use Zoom for the, like, It's the Lag show. And honestly, Discord ended up working better, more consistently, better video quality, and was cheaper. So I think we're just gonna do that. Like, why pay for something we don't need to pay for, you know? Okay, try that. This is kind of fun. Fun little puzzles. Bigger, longer uncut, always. Yeah, I like that he lives in the Netherlands, but was wearing a Wisconsin shirt. I gotta ask him about that. Maybe we'll do that, you know, on Wednesday. We'll ask him. Be like, what the hell was that, dude? Like, such a weird thing for somebody in the Netherlands to be wearing. Meaty rice balls. Wow. Lodging voucher, regular stable bed. Okay. Meaty rice balls. What else could I possibly need? Might go to the tower and then jump down to that. Griffith. All right. Good night, everyone. I'm gonna go jerk off. Oh goodness. You have a good night, my friend, and good luck. Good luck with that. Man. I need to run across a Hinox because I want to try that. I know people don't want to hear this, but Nintendo is a toy company. Always has been. They make products that have a wide appeal, durable, and safe purchases. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that's controversial. They're very good at coming up with ideas for games that are fun, quirky, and different. And paired with that, the games that they make are, they're usually good at having wide mass market appeal for adults and kids alike. They have high polish normally, not always, as we saw with Pokemon, but often they're very polished. So they're considered safe, reliable purchases from a safe, reliable company. And they have gimmicks that make them feel unique and different. Tears of the Kingdom, I'm glad to hear it's selling well, because I was worried that it was going to be kind of like a Wii U thing, but as a game. But doesn't seem to be the case. Like, I thought that it would just be hard to like convince casual gamers that this was different from Breath of the Wild, but they seem to have successfully done it. What are you doing? Let me in. Small problem. I can fix it, but the door won't open. I have no clue why. It's not locked, but it won't budge no matter how hard I push or pull. Of course, I know it's a sliding door. That's what I meant, obviously. Worked up the appetite, get a brain and gear for this, but the nearby caves would have some tasty mushrooms. Bottom of the hill. Okay, you're gonna make me go mushroom hunting. Mushroom hunting? Okay. I can appreciate that they didn't want it to just be like, oh, there's the big boy. I don't think our trick, I don't think our exploit is gonna work on this guy though. Also, how cool is this that there's just like stone monsters roaming? I love it. Oh my god, no! I don't know how I'm getting up this. Can I use this? No, I cannot. Where are you? Bing. Oh, I just missed it. Light the grass on fire. Didn't even mean to do that. Didn't even mean to do it. Spiky bat. Whack, 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 whack. Oh, touche. Touche. Oh, God. I didn't even realize how low health I was. Oh, my God. That'll do. Touche. Touche. Try sending through it. Maybe if I go between his legs, it'll let me. maybe. They're more like a marketing company that puts out products. They're really good at selling and showing the appeal of whatever they're doing. Where is he? Oh, over there. They are very good at that. Maybe I let them stay alive so that they can light that on fire for me to jump up. Meaty rice balls. Should have gone cooking before this. Oh well. Link, the great defender of Hyrule. The ultimate King Bozo. And then swap to this. Okay, come at me, bro. Oh, right as the fire goes out. Come on, burn it. Burn it up. Or do I need to do that? Okay, I'll light it up. So light it up, light it up, light it up, I'm on fire. Come on. Got him. Oh my god. That was good. That was good. Is there anything we do with the hearts? I don't remember that. I don't remember the hearts. Do we burn it? Do we send it off? What if I fuse it with a sword? Oh. It's like Kingdom Hearts. Doesn't that seem like a sword we'd see like Mickey Mouse use against Gondolor? I don't know my lore. I'm not familiar with my Kingdom Hearts lore. I don't want to jump all the way down there if that's not... He said at the bottom of the hill. This seems like the bottom of the hill, doesn't it? Like, that seems like the bottom of the mountain. I don't know. Come here, horsey. We're looking for a cave. That looks cavey to me. Sure does. Splash fruit, love it. Let's just attach it here. And work our way through. Opal. Oh, they put another one here because they're like, yeah, you'll probably need this. Jeez. It's like Red Faction Zelda. Jeez. Okay. Is this just another entrance? Okay. Not that useful. I guess we gotta go back in. I guess. That armor has bulbs. Yeah, this is one of the armor sets you can get while exploring the depths. And it illuminates your way so that you don't have to constantly be using your bright bulbs or whatever. Kind of don't want to use my good stuff for that. Where'd that rock go? I've only found one piece to the armor set, but it gets the job done. Oh crap. Okay. Wow, lots of goodies in here. Horriblin, which is an awesome name. Topaz Topanzanite earring. This one's going for $17 billion. But right now, we're gonna charge $24.99. All that for a shield? Come on, dude. Sounds good, Rocky. We'll do. Hit the thing. I saw people on Twitter going, OMG, you can recall the Talus's rock throw to bring him down faster. And I was just sitting there under the impression that's how everybody was doing the fight. Like, it's the first thing I did to the first Talus I fought, and I've never changed the strat. Hey, if it works, it works. I don't know, we haven't really seen, maybe I just wasn't aware of it. I didn't think that in that last engagement, I don't think he really did that throw. He did it once and it killed me because I was super low health. And then after that, did I not take the shield? Because I guess I didn't. But yeah, there's so many cool little moments. Like there was one point where I was trying to climb up like the side of some structure, some building. And I just could not figure it out. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I gotta prep to go and I've gotta prepare to like get my crazy like stamina potions and I gotta prep all this stuff to take it on. And then I just had this moment where I was like, oh, or I could just like chill out and use the ascend ability. And then like I did that and easy, done. Yeah, oh, one time I got stuck at the bottom of a cave. That's what it was. I fell in like a well or a cave thing, and it's just a small tunnel that goes back up to the surface, but I fell all the way down. And I was like, how on earth am I gonna get out of this? It's like raining, it's all slippery, and I don't have enough stamina stuff. And I was like, I guess I just have to fast travel out of here. And then I realized, oh wait, no, I have the ascend ability. I can just ascend to the surface. There's just a lot of little things like that where you don't realize that you have these abilities until it clicks.
Oh.
I know, you just told me to go down there. Caves?
Oh.
Yeah, I just did that. You want me to just give you mushroom? Like, why can't I just, in dialogue, give him mushrooms? Take him. Okay, I guess he wants different mushrooms. Little picky, but okay. Guess I don't have the right mushrooms. Like, we went through this. We picked up a bunch of stuff. I don't know what he wants. Whack, whack, whack. Honestly, it's a little satisfying when you hit multiples. Oh, this looks promising. Hello? What's up, dude? Just wrecked. Wrecked. I missed the rock climbing shirt and banana. Oh, baby. That was a good drop. Wow. Gee whiz. I missed the rock climbing shirt. There were a lot of... I wonder if the metal suit and armor is still a thing in here. Because that was like, I think, the best armor in the game, wasn't it? In terms of like defense, it was the steel armor. Look at this. How cool is this? I can drop down. And this is the game getting all 10s. I think the whole thing, Robert, is like, oh, perfect, right under the stairs. It's a 10 for Zelda fans, and especially a 10 for fans of Breath of the Wild, because it's more Breath of the Wild on steroids. And that's pretty much all that most, like, Breath of the Wild Zelda fans were looking for. Oh, the Blood Moon's coming. But a lot of people, I think, mistake that as a 10 out of 10 masterpiece for everybody, and that's not necessarily the case. Like, if you're not clicking and you've never clicked with the Breath of the Wild style of game, it's not going to change now. Like, I was actually kind of surprised. On the video we posted on Friday, there were actually a good number of people. Oh, you see that? We can go to that island that's up there. We can go there. How cool is that? But somebody on that video commented something that I found really interesting. They were like, you mentioned in that video that this is a game that you have to really be careful not to play in the same way as a Ubisoft game. And what I said was like, this is not a game you play with a guide. This is not a game you play pulling up objectives, marking them, and like, okay, well, this website said go here to find this armor and do that and that. This is a game that you should play with as little guiding, as little, like, for lack of a better term, intentionality as you can. Just float through it. Do they still have the I don't think they do. Maybe it'll be in the DLC. In Breath of the Wild, there was this tool that you could use. I think it was a DLC edition, but you could track and it would show you the lines showing everywhere you had gone and walked through the whole path since the beginning of the game. It would show you exactly where you went, the fast travels and where you popped out and everywhere you went. So that then you could go and check the areas you didn't explore and you didn't check out. And it was really, really fascinating because people who really loved the game, they traveled all over the place, all on foot or on horseback, just riding and exploring every little crevice. And the people that tended to hate the game, you could check that they almost always made beelines. They just like went from here over here to get this thing because they found a guide that said a good weapon was here. And then they're like, oh, I want to get a good suit of armor. And so they run right there. Hero's Path. Yeah, that's what it was. And then they're like, oh, I want to go get this sword. There's a good sword up here. So they run up here. And then it's like, oh, there's the jumping fly ability thing that we get from the Rito village. Run over here. And so you saw that they traveled in really straight lines, but the people that tended to really laud the game and were super obsessed with it, you would check their hero's path and it was just like you toss spaghetti on the screen. It was just all over the place, winding, moving all over the place. And it reflects a different way of playing. And I think it's just another example of how unguided exploration or unintentional exploration is really, really the key element of this game. Like, you're gonna get the most mileage out of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom if you go into it just exploring for the sake of exploring, and when you stumble on cool stuff, you engage with it and then you move on. But if you're trying to play this like Assassin's Creed
Valhalla,
you're gonna have a bad time. You just will. You just will. Like, but it's a different mindset. It's a different way of playing. And for some people, it's almost more difficult to just turn your brain off. You see that falling shooting star? You can go find that. It's like if you have that moment where you're just standing here taking in the sights, you see that shooting star. If you want to go find it, you can go find it. And all this is happening. The world's ending real quick. Don't mind me. It's always super trippy when this happens.
When the glow of the blood-stained moon.
And then this is the Redfall part of the game, where the vampires come out.
Endless spirits of slain monsters return to flesh. The world is threatened once again.
Okay, I need you guys' feedback, okay? I need your feedback. This is one of those am I the asshole moments like you see on Reddit, okay? We have a neighbor who has like some of the meanest, nastiest looking dogs you can think of. Just like the big Rottweiler, pit bull, mean, scary, I'll kill you in 2 bites kind of dog, okay? And they have like 2 or 3 of them. Oh yeah, and then they respawn. And they let these dogs out without leashes to like walk with them through the neighborhood without any leash, without any guidelines, just going around doing their thing. And Nikki and I will be like out on a walk with Lockie, and then we see way up down the street that they have these dogs out just running around without any sort of barrier or protection to keep them from sprinting up. And previously they have charged us, those dogs. Like they've charged us because of that. And you know, they always start shouting. Last time that they charged us, they were like, oh no, they're nice, they won't bite. It's like, if you have to yell, they won't bite, I think that shows that they've probably run into problems with these dogs charging other people before, okay? And I don't know if your dog's gonna bite or not. And honestly, you don't either. They could get a whiff of the cats that we have that like rubbed on my pant leg before we left the house, and they could freak out at that. And they could bite me, they could bite Lockie. They could do all sorts of things. And every time, like I just saw on the Ring doorbell, that's what made me think of this. I saw on the Ring doorbell that they are out walking those dogs right now, right in front of our house without leashes on. What breed are they? I don't know what, like, I don't know many dog breed names. What are like the really, really nasty dogs? The ones that like, no, they're not Rottweilers. It's like a Rottweiler mix though, because it kind of has the face of a Rottweiler, but it's got like super thin hair, like almost there's very little depth to it, you know? Like I don't know. Doberman, Cane Torso, Golden Retriever, Pit Bull, Bull Terrier. Looks kind of like this mixed with a Rottweiler. Like they're very aggressive, and like this dog's tiny. The ones that they have are like they go up above my hips. Mastiff maybe, pit bull mastiff maybe. This is what they look like. Big, mean, nasty balls of muscle. And they will like sprint up. It's almost like this, but they're like black. One of them has a really cool color. It's like black and brown, kind of like Hermione's colors. Looks kind of like this. Yeah, has this like texture to it. But this is what they look like just big, mean, nasty dogs. And I'm sure that they'd be like, oh no, they're very sweet. I don't care. I don't know if your dog's sweet. That's the problem. Like, if these things charge me, my wife, and my 1-year-old, we have a problem. Like, we have an issue, okay? But they act like we're crazy every time we get, like, we might snap at them for it. Like, hey, maybe, can you get your dog on a leash? God damn it. But right here, yeah, deserved or not, they have a rep, and the owner should be more careful. I agree. You need to report them to animal control. I'm about to. I mean, honestly, if we see them out doing it again, I don't know what else to do. Like, one day I took Lockie on a walk. Nikki was off. I don't remember what she was doing, but she was out of the house. So it was just me and Lockie at home. And I took Locke on a walk to the park. And the guy was out front working on like the brake pads of his BMW in the front of his house. And he had all 3 of the dogs. I think maybe just 2. But he had like 2 of the dogs sitting out on the front lawn. No leashes, no like collar hooks to the like stake in the ground, nothing like that. Just sitting in the front lawn. So it was like, dude, not only like am I worried about what might happen if your dog charges me and my kid, but also like, aren't you worried about what would happen if the dog went into the street and like started chasing a car and got hit? Like, just have no perception of it. It's amazing. I don't know. Where I am, these dogs are not allowed. They are literally illegal. In some counties in Colorado, they are illegal. In some counties. I think Boulder is the main one where they're considered illegal. And I mean, they're illegal because they're responsible for like 80% of the lethal dog attacks and the severe injury dog attacks on record. So they're like, hey, if 80% of the problems are coming from this one breed of dog, let's just make that breed of dog illegal. You can't own it. But we live in like a pretty blue collar area. So it's all about my freedom, my liberty. And so nobody wants to regulate anything. And so like they don't regulate having leashes on your dog. They don't regulate like what cars you can and can't park out front. I've said this before, and funnily enough, my older brother got like pissed at me. He like unironically, I think, called me like a liberal cuck or something because like half joking. He wasn't that like, he was serious, but not like totally serious, like, you know, where it's like he's trying to poke at me in a funny way. And it was all because I said I would personally like it if in my neighborhood they had a regulation that made it so you cannot park massive like crane trucks on the neighborhood street. It takes up like half the road. I don't like it. You can't like drive safely. If there's 2 cars, like they're gonna hit. It's just not, I don't like it. I would rather that they just had a thing where they're like, yeah, for your business truck, you have to take your business truck and park it at the business.
Oh.
Okay, not those caves. We already did those caves. God damn it. And I was like, the great thing about HOAs, like I know we all hate HOA fees. I get it. But the nice thing about HOAs is that if you don't want certain things, you just seek out an HOA that's going to avoid those things. Like if you like having, oh, we can try it here. If you like having certain things like, hey, we're going to have all of the lawns mowed nicely. You can find, like, move to a neighborhood with an HOA that has rules on keeping the, like, lawn taken care of. There are some houses in this neighborhood, because there's no HOA, there's nothing like that. There are some houses in this neighborhood that, like, no joke, their lawns are nothing but weeds. They'll still go out there and they'll, like, mow it. But you look at it and it's just dirt. And then, like, weeds growing in the dirt. And it makes, like, when people come over, they drive past all those houses and people are like, oh, wow. YouTube's not doing so good for Luke, huh? If they if they're here, because it makes, like, the entrance to the neighborhood look super bad. Super bad. But then you get in and then you see the people that are taking pride in their houses and do take care of the lawns. And it's like, oh, no, this is actually quite nice. But you wouldn't know that until it's potentially too late. Do you still have abilities from the first game, like magnetism? No, like they reset. So like this is the ability wheel. So when the game starts, you have like Ultra Hand, Fuse, and then Recall. And then later you unlock the camera ability, and in the caves you unlock Auto Build, which allows you to like quickly build blueprints that you've previously crafted. And then it saves previous construction, so if you want to just quickly do something that you've already built, you can just do that. And then if you wanted to build it, if the parts are there, you can just do that. Or if you want to just do this, you can use these little pieces, like these crafting materials you get down in the depths as well, which is super cool. So if I wanted to build this right now, I could just build this. But we're going to take on the Hinox first. One weedy lawn in the neighborhood makes everyone suffer with more weeds too. Exactly. Thank you. It's just like, I understand for some people, they can't take care of the lawns. Like they might have health issues, or they're an old lady or something and they can't take care of it. I get that and I feel for that. But if, like there's also, in the neighborhoods, there are people that will go around and work on lawns for people. Like mow their lawns for them and do that. What we have going on here are like years of neglect and zero effort being put in. Hold the phone, Luke. How did you have pre-built structures? If you go down into the depths, eventually you find like this place, the Forge Construct. There's like a little boss fight thing that happens there. And once you go there, you'll unlock the auto build, which allows you to auto build either favorited schematics that you've already built. So like this is like a car that I previously built. And then if the pieces are there in this purple circle, it'll build it from that, or it will build them from those resources that you collect down in the depths that are used to improve like battery charges and stuff. It's pretty cool. But I don't know, man. I value a good lawn. I pay guys to come in and to like do treatments on the lawn, and it's because when we moved in, the previous tenants had like a bunch of female dogs, which are really bad for the lawn. Just their pee is like acid. It just tears it up. And so when we moved in, I was like, okay, we got to get on this. There were huge patches of just dead dirt, and it was terrible. But we've worked very, very hard to get that lawn back. And now, like, the whole lawn looks great. It looks amazing. But you go one or two houses over, and it's just like a total, like, it is a pile of dirt with weeds in it. There's just zero consistency. So, like, we live both sides of our house, well maintained. They really care about their lawns. They keep them up. They trim the trees. They have nice landscaping. It makes our house look nice. It's awesome. And then on either side of those houses, the people have just like totally given up, and there's just zero effort. Like the lawns look terrible. It's all weeds. And it's like, I understand it's your freedom, it's your right to have a lawn that doesn't look nice, but you know, as a neighborhood, we're kind of all in this together, you know, like we're all trying to do this together. So I think this bat we might be able to get, but honestly, the logs might work better. So let's go over there. Let's get the logs. Let's craft this thing. And we're going to try the exploit. We're going to see if we can break this. How long is Breath of the Wild? It's been 5 years since I last played. Before my replay, and now I'm at the Great Plateau. Breath of the Wild, it depends. You can finish it in like 10 hours if you want, and you go get some good materials. My first playthrough, I think I fought Ganon, or Calamity Ganon, like maybe, I think it was like 70 hours in, 70, 80. I don't remember exactly. But it was around there. And but after that, I still put in another probably 70, 80 hours. I got my log. Now I need a boulder. Couple boulders. And we're gonna see if we can break this dude. Just like totally break the whole thing. I don't see any rocks though. See if we can find some rocks. Oh. Can I attach it to this? Can I fuse these? Yeah, that's a bat right there. That's a hammer. That'll do. How's the performance? It's good. The only times like you really see drops is when you enter into this ultra hand mode. Like you saw there, if we're moving the camera smoothly, I'm going to hit it 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to see some frame drops. 3, 2, 1. See that? And then it catches up. So there's little stuff like that where it might drop a few frames as it changes modes. But honestly, it runs pretty much on par with Breath of the Wild. I'd say no better, no worse. It really is just like a wash. What amiibos do I have? I don't have any amiibos. I'm not cool enough. I love how this Hennix is just like chilling. Performance is impressive for a large open world game, but not up to modern standards. Stuck at 30 FPS, dips into 20s. Yeah, I'd say it dips in the worst that I've seen. It dips maybe to 28, and then it catches back to 30. So it's like 2 dropped frames, like I said right here. This is, that wasn't bad actually. I gotta get closer, and then it'll drip. Yeah, you see there, it probably dropped like 29 there, maybe dropped a frame or 2. But frankly, it's not disruptive, which is the most important thing. But like somebody said on Twitter, they're like, this is a great example of how there's a double standard where everybody's fine with Nintendo games really like crap, but Xbox games, you know, can't have even slight issues. Otherwise they get torn apart. And frankly, it's just like, I don't think that people are necessarily being disingenuous. I think they're just honestly mistaken. The thing is, like, to a certain extent, there is a double standard. There are 2 standards. If the game is bad and it runs poorly, we have a problem. We have 2 big problems. But we have a major problem because now there's no reason to play the game. But if the game is really, really good as a game, but it doesn't run as great as you would hope, then we have a different issue. That's a different standard to which we are judging it. If the game is great and has problems technically versus if the game is terrible and has technical problems. In the case of Redfall, like ACG said in that tweet, Redfall running at 8K, 120 hertz would not magically become a great game. It's like the problems with Redfall are much bigger than just the frame rate, the resolution, that stuff. Whereas for Breath of the Wild, as you've seen, people are like, I want to play it. Maybe I'll do this here in a minute. Maybe we'll try this. Maybe I'll show you what this looks like running on PC. I guess, like, you know what? I want to take on the Hynix first. We'll try this exploit on the Hynix, and then I'll show you what it runs like on PC. But what people are saying is, like, when it runs on PC, it's amazing. This is like an amazing technical achievement, and then it also looks great, and then it plays great, and great mechanics, blah, blah, blah. And so once the standard is like, yeah, it's a great game, but it's even better when it runs at higher frame rates and resolutions. It's like, yeah, because it's a great game. It's a great game first, and everything else follows. And frankly, the art style that they chose works wonders for covering up a lot of the issues. In a lot of ways, it's sort of like, it's kind of like South Park, you know? It's like complaining about South Park's animation quality. One of the genius things that they did with South Park is that they had this art style that is like kind of crappy, but they chose, oh yeah, I would hypothetically show it on PC, right? And then if it happened to look way better than what we're seeing right now, that would hypothetically be very confusing because I wouldn't know how that possibly happened hypothetically. But with South Park, like, you watch an episode from 2008 and then you watch an episode from 2015, it's kind of hard, unless you know like the seasons on the episodes. It might be kind of difficult to know which one was created before the other, because they all kind of meld together because the art style is timeless. And in the case of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's sort of similar. Like, the art style is kind of timeless. So in the future, you know, if they did like a next gen port and they brought Tears of the Kingdom to whatever their next console is that maybe runs it at upscaled 4K, I think it would still look just as good, and it wouldn't stand out as like, ah, yes, that's an old school game. Like, you look at footage of Ocarina of Time, it looks old, it looks dated. I feel like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, other than the resolution and the frame rate issues, it doesn't feel super out of date because the art style was very particular, and they chose it very, very precisely, you know? Yeah, South Park's art style is pretty timeless. Yeah. South Park art style is timeless, only the very first. Oh, did you say that before I went on that rambling thing? God damn it. Okay, what I think I'm gonna do, so we're gonna move this over here. Now what I'm gonna do, okay, let's see if this works. A little. Oh, wow. Oh my God. Dude. It like did a lot. Wow. This is so stupid. Okay, swinging around. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then rewind. No, come back over here. Okay, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky because you gotta set it up and then you gotta swing him into it. And then you gotta walk him into it, you know? it's a little tricky. Okay, for this, it's gonna go over there. Come on, come on, come on, you bitch! Oh, he's locked behind the rock. God damn it! I will defeat you. Oh God. I don't have enough fingers for this. I don't have enough fingers for this. So you have to like smash the D-pad while this is happening. Yeah, right here, baby. Right here, that's it. This is money. Money shot. Oh, baby. Yes! We killed him without hitting him once? Oh, wow. Okay. So stupid, though. Wow. Okay, it actually worked. I'll take it. Huh. That's great. You know, you remember I said in that video, I was like, I don't think you can break Tears of the Kingdom even if you want to. Like, if you're trying, I don't think you'll even be able to manage it because they give you the ability to do this time rewind stuff and to just figure it out. And then they let you break it. They're like, yeah, I mean, try. But even something like this, other game designers might look at that and be like, oh, well, we don't want people exploiting the boss fights like that. That's not what we meant them to do. But like Nintendo instead is like, yeah, just go for it. Break it. And like, there's going to be so many crazy strats that people come up with. I've said in the lead up to this game, I was like, I bet those freaking speedrunners are going to do some craziness with this game. Some actual madness, because the exploits and the potential for breaking it is just going to be insane. Absolutely insane. Oh, there's a falling star. Can we go there? It landed in that right there. That's it. Should we go there? So we just saw a falling shooting star thing. I kind of want to... Can I delete... Okay, let's delete this green pin. I'm going to make this pin at green. And then I'm going to hop on my horsey horse. And we're going to go do that. We already went through this. I'll just come back and do this later. Oh, wait, but we just had that drop. And remember the time rewind? We can use that to do a little skydiving. The one downside with the low stamina is that you can't really parachute or do this for very long. But like, look at this. We can just rewind. It'll take us up, and then we can jump down and skydive down to that point. Isn't that crazy? Ascending was the developer tool they used when designing the caves and stuff, and had the idea to give the ability to the player. I think it's cool. That is super fun. It's just like, yeah, why not? Make them feel like gods too. Oh wait, I have an outfit specifically that increases mobility in the sky. Not great, but better than nothing. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty. I knew that could work. That exploit could work, but man, I wasn't expecting it to just like, I was expecting it to be a little bit more finicky, but honestly, if you figure out like probably you have to go in sort of a figure 8 pattern, you should be able to break it like pretty easy, I think. And once you get the hang of it, I mean, it's just outrageous. Yeah, there's all sorts of those patterns all over the map. Oh. I just made an oopsie. I'm probably gonna die. Oh no, I did that. Okay. Oh, that was about as close as you could possibly be. Wow. Wow. Almost ran out of stamina real bad there. Oh. Excuse me, ladies. Would that work on a Lionel though? Probably. It might be harder because they move a lot faster. But you could probably also just come up with a strat where you tie like 3 logs together end to end and then some boulders on either side to increase the mass. And you just spin it in a circle. And then you do a time rewind. You could probably do that and that would take him out real quick. Yeah, build a row of walls, have a big hammer going up and down. What you could do also is like if you have a series, if you take like 2-3 boulders, you attach them together and then you lift them straight up. You rewind so they go straight up and then they fall back down. You could probably get away with that really easy. We found the shooting star. Star fragment, a mysterious stone fragment that fell from the sky. Its gem-like quality makes it highly valuable. One theory is that it has the power to light up its environment. Isn't that crazy? We were just over there. We saw this shooting star. It lands here. We come over, we grab it. And now we're distracted by a bunch of other things. Like, oh, what's that weird rock formation? We go there. There's like an old shrine there that we already got. There's just constant things to get distracted by. Man. Man, though. It's crazy. Oh, and the chat froze too. Froze a while ago. My goodness. There we go. In the room where you move the big boulder. Oh, because it's gonna send me to the like behind the door. Ah, duh. I could do that. What I was gonna show you is hypothetically, in theory, hypothetically, what it could look like if this thing were running at say 4K. Hypothetically. I was going to show you what this game would look like if that were to hypothetically happen. Because hypothetically, it could happen if that were to hypothetically happen. In theory. Let's see. Let's see. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That are playing their content. The big thing is like they will strike channels that are playing long cutscenes, that are doing a lot of like it's very inconsistent. In the past, it seems like they primarily go after the guys that dedicate their channels to the content. But it's definitely sucky that they do that. They're not very nice to creators for real. Shields, you had your baby. Awesome. Congrats. Congrats. That's crazy. Just like yesterday or the day before, over the weekend. That's madness. That's madness. Yeah, that's wild. Finally happened. It happened Friday in the morning. Oh, baby. How you feeling? 8 pounds, 3 ounces. Congrats, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. How are you feeling a few days in? Overjoyed? The like surreal feeling kind of wore off? Because I don't know about you, but like for me, when Lockie came, for the first like 4 or 5 hours, you're just kind of like floating. Like you aren't really even sure what's happening. Your brain is trying to catch up. Because like you've been talking about this baby coming, you've been thinking about it for so long, and then the baby's there, and you're just kind of like, oh geez. This is new. And it takes a minute to adjust. But man, that's crazy. Congrats, my friend. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, Crimson, Korok seeds are in the game, but not in the way that they were. Like New Kid saying, it's different. Like I mentioned that there was that one guy that we found the Korok seed that's like, he's got a backpack on and he's separated from his friend. So you need to find a way to cleverly get him there. So it's not just like, oh, I lifted a rock and there he is. It's like, here's a baby Korok seed that needs to get to his friend. And so he's here, but his friend is up on top of the mountain. And you've got to figure out how to carry this thing or get this thing to the top of the mountain efficiently and quickly. So like you'll find, like you'll create a hot air balloon and then you blow that up and then you float him up and then, you know, or you attach him to a car that you craft with some nearby stuff. So there's a bunch of ways that you can do it. A bunch of clever little ways. But hold on, I'm trying to fix this. And then system, vsync, load application, voila. Okay. Her name is Sunday. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Luke increasing the bitrate. You know me, I would crank it. I wanted to do this stream in 4K 60, but you guys said you liked being able to talk to me in real time. I get it. I get it. It's a worthy trade-off. The 4K, to do 4K 60 has like a solid 30 to 45 second delay. For some people, they were saying that it was like more than like a couple, like it was like a minute between when they would type something in chat and then see it pop up on screen. So I get it. I think it was a worthy trade-off, but man, I missed those 4K 60 streams. Everything looks so good. So good. Sacrifices I make. Maybe you can cook the golden poo with the golden apple for something special. It's a very good idea. I wonder what, I don't know how many Koroks, like Korok seeds are in here. I don't know. Great Sky Island. Let me go. I'm going to go to like a super early save. Because I was going to try to do, like, for a video that we're doing on this, I was going to try to go in and be like, oh yeah, look, all of our footage is in 4K. I wonder how Luke did that. Must be AI stuff. But it didn't end up working too well. Now, oh, there it is. That's why. Aspect ratio 21:9. I don't know if this is gonna work because I have no mods installed to like force ultra wide. I guess we're gonna find out if this works or not. AV1 encoding, yeah, that's what we're doing now. This is AV1 at 1080p. And I think it looks good. I mean, we're able to crank this at decently high resolutions and qualities. With bit rates that would previously be like very, very impractical, but I don't think it's going to work. It's going to stretch it. God damn it. Okay, well, we'll just do 16:9. And I'll show you what this looks like. Even though it's running at like 20 frames a second. Full screen. Um, 60:9 ultra wide. Bloop. Okay. So because I don't have any mods installed, it's running at like tiny frame rates. But I mean, you can see what this looks like if this were hypothetically to be running in real time. You can see what it would look like running on PC at higher resolutions. Super sharp, super clean. Just damn sexy. And apparently now you're able to get this running at very, very high. Oh my God, stop talking to me. You're able to get this running at super high frame rates. I have not done anything like that, so I don't know. But I mean, pretty sharp. Pretty sharp, I'll tell you what. Pretty sharp. My game comes tomorrow, so I'm going to bounce. No spoilers. We'll share the Sunday pics in the Discord. Awesome, my friend. Congrats again. Congrats. I am not running this at 4K 60 stable with AA not enabled. Yeah, hypothetically, if this were a thing that you could do, it would probably look really good. And I've heard hypothetically that you could get something like this working for Breath of the Wild. And that if you were, that you would get full ultra wide support. I wonder if I can actually show you. I think I've got some footage of that. Disco Cobra, thank you, my friend. Gee whiz.
Wow. That's most definitely what's up.
That's most definitely what's up, Disco Cobra. There it goes. I was like, where did it go? Why isn't it working? Read it to me, Mr. Robot.
Disco Cobra 2013 super chatted $20. So I have Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Only Zelda game I've ever played was Ocarina of Time. How do I get into Zelda games the right way? The newer ones seem pretty open-ended and confusing a bit.
Yeah, they are different. They are different for sure. What you're seeing here is Breath of the Wild, by the way, running on 21:9 ultra wide at like 200 frames a second. Like it's madness. But Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, only Zelda game Ocarina of Time. How do I get into Zelda game the right way? I would say Disco, for one, thank you for the 20. That's incredibly generous. And two, my advice has been that people should go into these games with as little exposure as you can. Just like go in there, experiment, go crazy. If you have an idea, like, I wonder if I can break it in this way. Go in there and try to break it. Like we just did with the Hinox. Or if you go in and you're like, hey, maybe I can do this or that. Or like where you're seeing here in Breath of the Wild, where you're just like, oh, I wonder if I can go up there. I wonder if I can go up to the top of the mountain. I wonder what's up there. I wonder what is over on this bird thing. Like, just go check it out. It's one of these games. It's an open world game, so it's not like Ocarina of Time, or it's not like any of those. It is fundamentally different, but it is the ultimate open world game where you are expected to just go and go crazy. And to just go make your own fun, do whatever you want without any like restrictions or guidelines. just go crazy. People run into trouble because they try to play these games as though they're playing a Ubisoft game, or as though they're playing, you know, the latest Far Cry or something. And you're just not going to have a good time if that's how you approach it. You just won't. But if you go into this expecting just a sandbox in the purest form, you can have a really good time. Now, if that doesn't sound fun, that's okay. If you're somebody that likes a little bit more structure in your games, there's no shame in that. It's just not the kind of game for you. I think a lot of people who are Zelda fans of like old school Zelda games went into Breath of the Wild or went into Tears of the Kingdom, and they're expecting the same kind of thing, and they don't get it, so they feel as though something's wrong, that they've missed out on something. And it's just fundamentally a difference in, I think, approach, and a difference in goals. Breath of the Wild is trying to be a very different game than Ocarina of Time, or than Skyward Sword, or, you know, any of those. It's also a great cooking sim. True. It's just different. Like, just because one game really appeals to, you know, one group of players does not mean that it will appeal equally to everybody else. And I think that that's the most common, like, misconception people have when playing games, is that they think that, oh, this got a 10 on IGN or a 10 from GameSpot or PC Gamer or whatever, therefore it's probably a 10 out of 10 for me. It's like, not really. It's a 10 out of 10 for people that are inclined to like these kinds of games. You know, it's fundamentally different. This looks so wrong at high frame rates. You're so used to 30 frames that it's just like, this doesn't make sense. Isn't it weird? There are a few things, like character animations don't always sync up quite right. There's some stuff like that, but man, running at 60, it's quite nice. And then, like, you see this is where it's timeless. Like, if this game released right now and it looked like this on PC, I don't think anybody would be complaining about the graphics or the art styles. But when it's on Switch, because it runs at 30 and at 720p, when on handheld, people are like, oh, clearly super, super terrible graphics. And it's like, no, it's all about art style. If they went for a photorealistic look, yeah, absolutely, it would look like garbage. But they intentionally chose to go with an art style that works better with like lower resolutions and lower frame rates, and it works really well. Plus, it being in third person really helps with the lower frame rates. The third person thing, I think I can forgive 30 frames if it's in third person, and it looks good enough, whether that's like The Last of Us or Red Dead or Zelda, whatever. But when you go first person, I really struggle with the 30 FPS. Like 30 FPS first person, especially shooters, I can't do it. Can't do it. I think it's also because Nintendo specifically animate for 30 FPS, so like his running animation is so exaggerated, it looks kind of funky at 60. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, needless to say, I don't think Nintendo has ever anticipated bringing Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom to PC and running it at 200 frames a second. I don't think that's ever crossed their minds. I don't think they're interested at all. Even though, let's be real, they would get some fat stacks if they were to do that. Can you imagine how many copies they would sell if they released this at, like, on PC for 60, 70 bucks? Dude, it would sell like gangbusters. It's amazing. Oh no, I'm not playing right now, to be clear. I'm not playing. This is a video. But it makes you see what this game could look like on a high-end PC running at high frame rates and high resolution. But little bits of it do look like weirdly sped up. And maybe it's because I'm just like used to parts of this like frames dipping at certain points, but I don't know. It does look crazy good. One of the things that I think Tears of the Kingdom really has done, though, and I think it might be a sign of a really good sequel, is that it's made it so like going back to Breath of the Wild ever is gonna feel so weird. Because like you're gonna have this massive claymore that does 50 damage, and you're like, oh, I want to fuse that to the tree log, get like super crazy damage, but you can't, because that's only in this game. You know, like there's so many little things that you're gonna get used to that will make it so going back to the Breath of the Wild, it's gonna feel so weird and super, super jarring. Which, I mean, it happens to the best games. No, the emulator has an issue. Sometimes moves frames too fast. It's fixed by limiting the GPU output. Hypothetically. Okay. Well, there you go. I have heard that there is a mod also to turn off weapon durability. So if you don't want to play with that, with weapons constantly breaking, you can turn it off. I would say, like I've said before, I think it's a necessary evil because it forces you to continue exploring, to find new gear constantly. So I think it's a good trade-off, honestly. But hypothetically, there's a visual fix that takes care of most of the 60 FPS issues. Hypothetically, of course. Me, when I went from Valhalla back to The Witcher and I couldn't just buy XP boost to play less of the game, I paid $70 for. Yeah, isn't that so weird? It's so, like, when you phrase it properly, it's like, okay, so Ubisoft, you're going to add something to your game where players can pay you more money than they already paid so that they can play less of the game that they paid you to play. Yes, that's what we're doing. Yes. Okay, as long as we are clear and we understand. Okay. Hypothetically, it runs perfectly at 4K 60 on Yuzo with certain mods installed on a 3080 and RX 5800X. Hypothetically, of course. Yeah, it's very impressive what they hypothetically can get working. I find PlayStation games at 30 unbearable, but Nintendo games at 30 are fine. Not sure why. A lot of it might just have to do with art style. Like The Last of Us Part 2 running at 30. Honestly, The Last of Us also covers up a lot of stuff with... they cover up a lot of stuff with motion blur. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, like this is all running at 30 FPS. But it looks really, really good. And I think it's more just the motion blur implementation and the fact that it's third person allows them to get away with it. But man, I also forgot how much I hate 1080p. It's so blurry. It's so blurry. Man. They didn't even try. Can you believe that guy? Can you believe that guy? Look at this cringe clickbait title. Oh my God. Unacceptable. Oh, the Hawaiian shirt though. The Hawaiian shirt fixes all. I have a talent for freeze frames, dude. Kind of like the purple. Kind of like that. It's not bad. I don't know. One day, Steven's man will join us in playing Destiny. Yeah, when everything chills out and I finally have time. Ugh. Right now, there's just so much crap. So much crap. It's not 3 hours long? No. I don't know. I can say I've always been more slow play, but Destiny is group now. It feels. Bloodborne on PS5 with my TV being big. that it made it look so much worse, especially when I was up close while I had to plug the controller in. Yeah, I mean, for real, it's just Bloodborne not running at a very high resolution. At least it doesn't seem like it. What does Bloodborne run at? Is it 1080p? Did they actually hit? Yeah, it's locked at 1080p 30. But man, like a lot of this comes down to like what type of game it is. Like I think you can get away with lower frame rates if it's like a third-person adventure game. You can get away with it. But games like first-person shooters or games like, you know, the Soulsborne games where it's all about quick movements and input timings and stuff, with those games you really do need much higher frame rates, I feel, for it to run at its best. Which is why it's frustrating that FromSoft stuff is locked at 60 max. Vampire Survivors, I've not played it. I don't know if we'll review it. Maybe if we have time, I'll jump on it, but I'm not sure. I don't have anything on the schedule right now for it, I guess I should say. Started delegating, man. You have a tremendous team now. I do. A lot of it is just coming up with a game plan and things that we need to tackle. There's also just like, you know, the specific minutia. Like if I'm doing a video on Jedi Survivor, most of the current holdup is with me and my time. So like trying to finish the script and the outlines and stuff and get that tackled, figure out what we're going to talk about, sit down, film it, blah, blah, blah. After that, sending it off to be edited is not that big of a deal. And of course we do that all the time, but there's a lot of time involved with that. And then we pair with that, you know, all of the other stuff we have to do for all of the other videos that are constantly cycling. So while we're working on that Jedi Survivor video, we're also working on Zelda videos. Then we're also trying to figure out, you know, long-term content and the next big critiques. And, you know, there's just a bunch of stuff that's constantly churning. And we try to track it all, but it's just, there's a lot. And part of it is that, you know, if we were in an office space, I think that would make it easier potentially to be able to just sit down and be like, okay, we're working through this today and we're working through that today. And, you know, we can maybe work through it faster, but being spread out. So what you need is a to-do list. I've shown our basically what is our to-do list before. I don't know what I can show. But like here, I'll just go to a different project. Like this is an app we've used before that works wonders, called Monday.com. And basically what it would allow us to do is to be able to have like, oh, I want to do a TikTok on Tears of the Kingdom exploit. And then we want to do that video. I'm going to assign it to a person, and then we're going to set the status. We can also have custom statuses. So if it's like, oh, we're also trapped in, you know, transcoding the footage. So we could set it to transcoding. We have different dates for it. We can schedule these things out, set up automations where it emails the person that's assigned to the project at that time. So when I move it from transcoding to working on it or to editing, you know, if we change this to editing, when it changes to editing, it tags the editor that's assigned to that video. So there's a bunch of stuff we can do to like automate the process or to get things moving, but there's still just a lot to do, you know? Next big game coming out this year. Diablo 4 probably is the next big one. After Diablo, I would guess probably, I don't know. Is there anything big coming in July or August? Nothing's coming to mind, maybe. Because I think, isn't Armored Core coming out probably like October, November, I think? Spidey's in September. Oh, I thought that was November. Okay, so Spidey. So probably Diablo 4 and then Spider-Man and then everything else. Maybe Silksong. Yeah, big maybe on that one. Yeah, Megabyte. I saw their response to it. The CMA thing just, they're picking the weirdest hill to die on. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's very, very weird. Server Slam went well. I'm bummed I didn't get to try it. I was excited. Armored Core is August. Okay, so we have Armored Core in August, assuming it doesn't get delayed. And then we have Spider-Man in September. October, we have most likely Assassin's Creed Mirage. And then we have in November Starfield. Final Fantasy 16, I don't remember when that comes out. Yeah, I don't know. And it's looking like by the end of the year we're gonna have a bunch of good games. It's also November. Okay. Is it really coming up this year? Apparently they're locking it down. They're gonna make it happen, and I hope they do. Yeah, Starfield Game of the Year, right guys? I don't know. We'll see. Mia, do you have an LLC? Just curious how you separate businesses. I have a series of things, S Corp, LLCs. I go through my accountants now for most things. Then we're working on putting all of it into a revocable trust. So it's a little bit sophisticated. I know a lot of YouTubers and streamers just kind of, it's all in their name and it's just, that's what it is. But I'm a little more elaborate with how I structure things. So the answer is yes to all of it. I have a lot of things set up. Thought it was funny the Arcane sponsored that Arcane sponsored these Fortnite streamers to play their game, and they said they liked it, but I could tell they were being sarcastic. Yeah, I like this so much. I don't know, man. I don't know how. Like, honestly, like you guys were saying earlier, I was like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to do these videos on like Raid Shadow Legends or anything. But honestly, if the pay was good and then we were like memeing on it, I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be really funny. And like, I don't think anybody would be actually that convinced, especially let's say, yeah. And the gameplay's really good, guys. Like I read it. I said what they wanted me to say. I might not have said it in the way they wanted me to say it, but still. Also, did FromSoft delay Elden Ring DLC to next year? I read an article saying that, but I don't know if it's actually true or not. I don't actually know. I don't know. Honestly, that might be the best bet, but I don't remember. Trust is the way to go, man. Yeah, Chris, especially for privacy's sake. Trusts are just baller. Yeah, make sure the check clears before the video up. Usually they set it so it's like net 45 or net 60. So the video goes up and then 2 months after that you get paid. So like I'm still waiting on checks for videos I did in like March. Oh yeah, Cyberpunk DLC too. That's true. That's right. Totally spaced that. Man, I think it's going to be a crazy year. I don't know what it's going to look like. I still think probably Tears of the Kingdom is going to just walk away with everything because it's Nintendo and it's Zelda, and I don't think anything's going to beat its Metacritic. Like, do you really think that Tears of the Kingdom is going to beat its Metacritic? Probably not. I think even if, or Starfield, if you do, like, do you really think Starfield's going to beat Tears of the Kingdom? I don't think so. But, even like Final Fantasy 16, yeah, I would guess high 80s, maybe low 90s. Armored Core, I think even if it gets 10 out of 10s, I think Armored Core still probably sits at like, if it's low 90s and it does really well, I still don't think it wins because it's still going to be niche. If anybody can make Armored Core mainstream, it's probably FromSoft. But I will bet you money that there's going to be a lot of people that play that game that loved Elden Ring, loved Dark Souls, loved Bloodborne, everything. And they try that game. And even though FromSoft is trying to be very clear, this is not like those games. This is different from Soulsborne. They play differently. They're just different. But I still guarantee there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get into it and it's not what they expected. Maybe Armored Core, 6 comes out. It's a great introduction to it. And then after like a DLC, and then maybe after they do Armored Core 7, then it starts to hook. Because I agree, Crimson. That's what people said about Dark Souls in 2012. But you'll remember, Dark Souls in 2012 was like successful, nowhere near the huge, crazy, massive phenomenon that FromSoft's Soulsborne games have become now. It took time. It took multiple releases, and they almost screwed it up with Dark Souls 2, even though that wasn't really them. It was another team, but still part of the same franchise. So I would expect Armored Core probably is going to make Armored Core fans super happy, but I still insist it's going to be pretty niche. So Armored Core isn't even AAA. I don't know. I've heard people say Armored Core 6 is not a big project for them, but I don't know if that's true. I know it's like a quick turnaround, but I don't know if that means that they're cutting corners. It sounded to me like they've been working on this for ages. I mean, in 2012, Dark Souls 1 sold 2.37 million units in 18 months, which is very good. I mean, that's very good. Dark Souls 2 sold about 2.5 million copies in roughly a year. Dark Souls 3, oh, they don't have sales numbers on that. Dark Souls 3 had sold over 3 million copies in its first 2 months and over 10 million copies by 2020, in the first few years. So they clearly, they took off. They started selling crazy well. And it became a phenomenon, the Soulsborne games, really peaking with Elden Ring, which sold they've already sold over 20.5 million units. 20.5 million, and it released a little over a year ago. So my fear is that not really fear, but I would guess that if people go in there and some of those 20 million people buy Armored Core expecting Elden Ring but with robots, they're going to be disappointed. Because frankly, it's not the same. Well, Crimson, I don't think you can say with a straight face that Sekiro was a major departure for them. The only reason it's not called Soulsborne is because that doesn't flow off the tongue. Most people consider Sekiro to be in the same broad genre of games that they've become known for. I don't think anybody really considered it a major departure other than the combat system shifting and then the mobility being increased. But nobody's doubting Armored Core is amazing. Nope, nobody's doubting that. But the question is mass market, because we're not just talking about hardcore gaming fans right now. We're talking about mass market appeal and sales and marketability. Sekiro's basically a stealth game. I would say Sekiro's basically a rhythm game. Sure, there's stealth, but I wouldn't really call it a stealth game. I'd call it a rhythm game beyond anything else. Just because of the combat, But anyway, it's the whole thing. It's going to be interesting to see. I really hope that they nail it. I really hope that Armored Core is great, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But it's, by all accounts, even by Crimson in chat, who's described this before, it's going to be different from what they've done before by a lot. Well, then not by what they've done before, because they already did Armored Core, but it's going to be different from what they've been doing recently. And what they've been doing recently has appealed to a lot of people, And it's going to be an interesting thing to watch their marketing team navigate this. It's going to be really, really tricky. New Kid, no one thinks Hogwarts is going to win it. I think honestly, New Kid, I don't think anybody wants to give, like, most of these media journalists were already uncomfortable covering the game because they were worried about all of the potential like heat from hardcore people online. Oh, Rocky. I'll show this because it's just really funny. But notice how I pulled it up before I shared the screen, okay? This Rocky just shared this. Breaking news! A giant phallus-shaped iceberg floating in Conception Bay surprises residents of Dildo, Canada. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. It's pretty stupid. Love it. Love it. That's amazing. Oh, wow. That's pretty great. Oh, man. Only here in Canada. Yeah, where do you find these things, Rocky? Yeah, dude, for real. Man. Well, anyway, guys, I am going to call it there because it's like 80 degrees in here. And also because I have a video to film, super secret. So I've got to go do that. But I appreciate you guys hanging with me, chilling with me, playing these games, hypothetically, of course. It's been a pleasure, as always. Video will go up on the main channel tomorrow morning, so make sure to look out for that. And then it looks like Wednesday we're going to be trying out trying to do the podcast on Wednesday, and then Friday we'll just be doing a normal stream so that hopefully we can go a little bit longer. But is it about Raid Shadow Legends? I wish I could really use that bag for real. It's been a hypothetical pleasure. Absolutely, my friend. Hypothetically. Everybody, much love. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye. Thank you to all the members, all the donos, all that stuff. And to Disco Cobra for the POG, the play of the game with that $20 dono. Much love, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.